The man was clearly a police officer, but secretly kept 4 lolis locked in his basement. Others looking at the scene would think he was an extreme pervert, but only he knew that he'd become so exhausted and helpless that he resorted to this. His real name was Yu Jai-T, a recurring awakened talent user. In the 21st century, suddenly gates to other worlds appeared on Earth. Thanks to them, humanity simultaneously awakened supernatural powers to control and train false ability users. The government built the Lair Academy, while things gradually stabilized. Not far away, a dragon planet called Escalopa sent 4 hatchlings to Earth. Their original intention was simply to let their offspring experience new joy, but they didn't expect it to be the worst decision. After arriving on Earth, none of the 4 hatchlings could survive. Some were swept into uncontrolled wars and died. Some were crushed by human malice until they fell. Some, unable to complete their missions, took their own lives. This became the trigger for the Dragon Clan's revenge. He had regressed many times, but had grown as strong as possible. Yet even that wasn't enough to protect the whole world. On the 6th regression, he did everything he could, from sacrificing 50 years of his lifespan to borrow future power, to taking 3 steps ahead to prevent every possible threat. But in the end, after all, he could only save a single person. Looking at the hundreds of millions of dragons before him, he could only let out a sigh. If only back then I'd sat down. That girl, could things have changed? So he fought the dragons for 3 days straight. But perhaps he also knew well that no matter how much he killed, it would never end. Once again, he used that ability, Vintage Clock activated, revering the world's timeline. To Yu Jai-T, that familiar notification, the thing that restored him to being the strongest, was what he bitterly hated. Sometimes he felt too tired of this cycle of life and death. Sometimes he wished he could die with humanity. Sometimes he just wanted to step out into the street like a normal person, to run around, to play. But the power and blessings that once made him the world's strongest clung to his life and wouldn't let go. In this 7th life, he decided to try a different way. The next day in Florence, Italy, amid everyone's cheerful atmosphere, Yu Jai-T suddenly appeared with a face, calm on the surface, but hiding an exhaustion nobody could fathom. He locked eyes with the blue-haired girl and spoke up. "Hello, miss, could you come with me for a moment?" Green, hearing this, slowly turned her head. She took a deep breath as if preparing for something. A system suddenly appeared within the magic circle, the Towers of Babel collapsing mastering foreign languages and script. Green, with flushed cheeks and long deep green hair, softly said, "Hello, what do you need with me?" Yu Jai-T quickly replied, "There is a matter to deal with." She wondered, "Did you come because you know who I am?" He, with dark circled eyes, admitted, "That's right. And do you know who I am?" Green quietly answered, "Yes, sir." Under the blue sky, she gently called Yu Jai-T's name. Green, bashfully, though knowing the answer, still asked, "Right." He darkened and questioned, "Where did you hear that name?" She pointed to the badge on Yu Jai-T's shirt and said, "It's there. On your chest it says Yu Jai-T." "Just kidding, I don't know who you are or what you do. But one thing I can guess is that you are extremely powerful and completely out of place here." Yu Jai-T froze when he heard that, and his gaze shifted to the side. Green leaned forward, speculating, "Could it be you came to kill me?" He denied no. She then imagined another scenario, kidnap. Yu Jai-T replied indifferently, "That's close enough." Green immediately covered herself, eyes welling. "You two are a special kind who crave dragons." He could only sigh, "Don't joke around. I intend to protect you in this dangerous world. If you don't obey, I will have to use strong measures. Your people's eyes are said to read destiny, so you are more sensitive and quicker to grasp situations than other races." Green listened attentively as blue spiritual energy gradually radiated from her eyes. Yu Jai-T strode past where she stood, emphasizing each word. "You belong to that race too. Make a wise decision." Green forced a smile and asked tentatively, So if I obediently follow you, will you treat me kindly?" He shoved his hands into his pockets and said firmly, "Yes." She closed her eyes and added, "I understand. After all, I have no right to choose, but you must treat me as an honored guest, okay?" Then Green turned and walked step by step. She winked and raised her pinky. "This is a promise, uncle." Suddenly, Green's finger trembled more than ever before. Yu Jai-T pressed his lips, observing her carefully. Then he extended his pinky and hooked it into Green's hand, replying, "All right, I promise." Cut to a high-rise building, bathed in sunlight. She, looking sleepy, poked her head out the door. Green, wearing his thin shirt, rubbed her eyes and asked, "Uncle, are you awake?" She looked at Yu Jai-T, sitting in front of a shadow, and called uncle. He was then ordering the Great Lord's Shadow SS to summon a doppelganger that could exert 50% of the original's power. "It's nothing, just go and do as I said." Then it transformed into Yu Jai-T, and immediately obeyed. Yes, I will obey, my lord. The original slowly stepped right in front of Green. She stared and said hello, thinking inwardly how identical they were. Ujit suddenly spoke. Don't mind it. It's a doppelganger. Let it do the work. Green startled and turned. Oh, uncle, did you sleep well? But it seems you don't do tasks yourself, do you? He sat reading the paper and casually said a doppelganger is also one of my abilities, so consider it as me doing it. Besides, I have to stay by your side. She forced a smile. All right, then I'll make breakfast. Ujit mumbled the words breakfast. Green activated her body and replied, of course you should eat. You skipped dinner last night too. He waved it off. I don't need it. She pressed her face into the pillow and whispered, but it's awkward if the host doesn't eat, and I eat alone. Ujit glanced and teased, are you always so food-minded? Dragons can live without eating. Green kicked happily and explained it's not about survival. Eating well makes you happy and lifts your mood. He asked dryly, is that so? She stood up and pleaded, no. Uncle, you must go grocery shopping with me. Ujit still refused. I don't need to. Green turned her face, voice firm. Let me show you the power of breakfast. Cut to the nearby S-Mart supermarket. People bustled back and forth in front of the supermarket hall. Everyone looked in one direction and whispered, look, Mom, is that woman a celebrity? The man she's with is good-looking too. Don't get too close or you'll get splattered. It's a pain. It turned out to be Ujit shopping with Green. He raised the shopping bag and asked, isn't this too much just for breakfast? She raised a finger and said earlier the kitchen had no ingredients or utensils. We'll need them later, so basic supplies are necessary. Come on, let's go home. I'll make breakfast quickly. Ujit sighed and objected, don't leave food at home. Eat out. Green, surprised, really? He closed his eyes and said, I have somewhere to stop by. You must come along, and besides, breakfast time has long passed. Seeing that, Green lowered her head and softly said, sorry. It's been a long time since I've been shopping, so I'm just excited. But is there somewhere we must go? Ujit, arms full, walked ahead and explained living here requires a few things. Her head filled with question marks at his next words. No need to rush, there's a lot to do. Cut to an old one-eyed man grinning with a toothy smile. Is this girl the director's love? Ujit's face darkened as he threatened, if you don't want to lose your remaining eye, shut up and work. The man huffed and then processed Green's information. After that, the two went out to collect their car. Soon a pile of jewelry appeared before them. The two happily pointed at the system board and discussed. After a while, Green held the ID in her hand and exclaimed, oh, I have an identity card too. It's magic. He was surprised, never had one before. She continued, it's not just an ID. There's an account and even hologram positioning. Seeing that, Ujit wondered how on earth she lives on this planet. Suddenly Green guessed maybe they took your family name, and what's with the name Bomb? He quickly explained it's taken from the 4 seasons, because there are 4 dragons. She, hearing that, happily exclaimed, you Bomb, I like that name. Spring is the season of sprouting life. It's so beautiful. Actually, I'm still a bit afraid of you, uncle. My eyes are still warning me that you are very dangerous. But perhaps you're not a bad person. Jit frowned and reminded him, we've only met a day, and you already dare to assert that. Green turned and explained, my intuition is sharper than anyone's because I'm of the dragon clan. She watched the peach petals falling before him, hesitating, and said so. Green's tone became extremely sweet. Could I observe a little longer? Let's go home for dinner. I'll definitely cook something delicious. Jit, seeing this, fell silent, the dragon's smile, something he'd never seen before. He tilted his face up to the sky and watched the petals fall. Jit closed his eyes, thinking silently that the beginning wasn't bad. Cut to a desolate place, the moon shining down from above. A desert somewhere in South Africa, where the land is barren. Red stood before a contemptuous guy. What's this? All that posturing earlier for only this. He gritted his teeth and coughed a few times. Seconds later, that man shouted as the girl's boot heel hit him. You crazy. How dare you touch us and think you'll be safe? Red unhesitatingly stepped on his head and declared, yeah, your face is ugly, so I stepped a bit hard. Probably not dead yet. The girl adjusted the mask on her face and exhaled. So that's 199 fights, 199 wins. Red pulled it off, revealing a sly face as he murmured, who's next? At this time, news outlets were continuously reporting rising violence in South Africa. The Bakata terrorist organization attack, resulting in more than 1,400 civilian casualties. The South African Alliance, abbreviated SAN, declared Africa will not tolerate violence. The night's assailants continued clashing with SAN after Barkata. Ujit read the news intently. It's time to act. Outside, Green announced, Uncle, are you still busy? Dinner's ready. Ujit replied, I have to go now. Green laid out a horrifying dish. uncertain if it was edible. Yu Jai-Ti looked displeased at the horrific food before him. Green remained cheerful. Is it good? She excitedly recounted how she made it. When I was in England, I learned a herring dish. Combined with Korean rice, it would be amazing. People say rice is strength, right? Yu Jai-Ti looked awkwardly at the herring head still on the spoon. He thought for a long while but still hesitated and couldn't eat. Yu Jai-Ti put the spoon down and announced, "Tomorrow we'll pick up Red." Green asked Red. She worried it'll be very difficult to bring her back. She won't be as compliant as you are. Yu Jai-Ti reassured her, "With you it will be easier to persuade." Green, puzzled, I can help. There's still distance between dragon clans." Yu Jai-Ti asked seriously, "Distant?" Green quickly explained, "Yes, dragons have different clans. My clan likes crafting, but Red's clan is different. They love war, flaunt strength, coercing her is even more dangerous. For Red's clan, surrender is worse than death." Yu Jai-Ti understood that, but still decided it must be done soon, to fetch Red. "Someone is targeting the girl. If we don't, Red will die." He looked straight into Green's eyes, "So if you come along, things will go smoothly." He realized Green was staring at him. "Why are you looking at me like that?" Green smiled. "It's just that asking me for help like this is too much. I thought you always handled things on your own." Green's words made Yu Jai-Ti fall silent. Green cheerfully continued, "Fine, I'll help. It's rare you ask, and I don't want Red to die." But suddenly her face turned cunning. "But I have conditions." Yu Jai-Ti asked, "What?" Her condition was very simple. "You must finish everything I cook. I know you put down your chopsticks whenever Red is mentioned." For Yu Jai-Ti, this was a request harder than anything. Yu Jai-Ti squeezed his eyes shut and took a deep breath. He slowly scooped each spoonful and brought it to his mouth. "I understand." Cut to a desert area. Corpses in military uniforms lay strewn across the ground. Red was gripping a soldier by the collar, lifting him high, surrounded by rows of dead bodies. An old soldier was thrown hard to the ground. He coughed painfully, Red mocked, what weaklings." She turned her back angrily and walked off. "I don't want to win like this. Africa has no rivals left. Where to next? Ah, Green is in Africa. Let's drop by and visit." Behind a wall, two soldiers lay in ambush. One held a knife, trembling, damn. He panicked. The elite sand unit was destroyed by a little girl. The other, holding a gun, warned, "Don't underestimate her. She's a berserker monster." The other worried, "We don't have the strength. We must wait for his arrival." Before he finished, Red suddenly appeared behind them, swinging the sword in her hand. "What's all that whispering in the dark about?" The gunman spun around in panic, groan, "What?" She didn't give them time to react, planning to charge. Too late. Suddenly streaks of light flashed from afar, catching Red's attention. A beam of light struck toward Red. She quickly parried it. This time Red no longer looked composed. She struggled to think. "This mana is too heavy." Red tightened her grip on the sword and inhaled. She unleashed a slash that severed the mana entirely. The two soldiers on the other side were stunned. She cut through the mana too, a monster. A mysterious-looking man approached. "Is that the Night Striker girl?" The two soldiers turned and said, "Lord Javier." The newcomer was Javier Karma, Sans number 8. He ordered, "Fall back." On the other side, Red still asked confidently, startled yet. She relaxed her arm after blocking the strike. "Was that heavy?" Red flashed a mischievous smile. "Are you the commander? Haha." Javier marveled, heard she was female but younger than expected. Red stepped forward, tossing aside her now broken sword. "Hey, you like me too. That's why I wear a mask." She kept talking to herself. "You all were so busy admiring my unrivaled beauty you couldn't fight." Javier scowled. "You've seen the power gap and still refuse to surrender." Red sneered, "What? Running away is humiliating." Red gathered strength in her hands. Of course, she would not accept surrender. She'd rather die fighting. Red charged confidently and found an opening. She punched Javier hard. He merely raised his sword to block gently. Then Red launched a flurry of strikes at him. She was still very confident. Watch this. Red intended to finish Javier with a vicious blow to the groin. The strike was executed, but Red froze. Her fist reached his groin but didn't move. Javier said calmly, "It seems you've never fought someone stronger. All your previous fights were child's play." He leaned close to Red's face, a bit of wasted talent. As he spoke, he swung his enormous sword. "But I'm not a match for your game." Javier lunged. His sword slashed across Red's body. She tried to dodge in panic. Whoa, a vast flow of mana flooded into the blade, the swords. Javier's eyes flashed. He intended to deliver a finishing blow, powering up. Red could only defend. She couldn't avoid death in time. A massive streak of light cut into Red, so fast it couldn't be tracked. The strike sent her flying. Her body smashed against the wall. Red in pain, a hump. Seeing the blow hadn't finished Red, Javier praised quietly. In an instant, she strengthened her arm to block. Definitely not an ordinary child. Increase the power. Javier looked toward where Red had been thrown. She had disappeared. When Javier advanced, where did she vanish to? Behind the wall, Red was being silenced by Green with a hand over her mouth. She was astonished. How are you here? Green cheerfully replied, I heard you were in danger, so I came to save you. While Green treated Red's wounds, Red grumbled, suddenly appearing and claiming to save me. Green calmly said, if you continue, you'll die. Red stubbornly shrugged Green's hand off. Look, Green, other things fine, but don't interfere in my fights. Live or die is my business. I'll fight to the end. Green still gently said, Red, if you die, our game ends. Red blinked, huh. She treated Red while saying, you wouldn't want to spoil the fun, right? Red agreed, I still want to stay on Earth. Hearing that, Green cheerfully proposed, cooperate, Red. How about we escape together? Seeing Green so sincere, Red was startled too. She curled her lip, he's strong. Wherever he runs, he'll be caught. Green wasn't alarmed, let him handle it. Red asked about him. Green nodded affirmatively. Yes, I'm not alone. At that moment, Yu Jai-T had somehow appeared behind Javier. Javier immediately noticed and turned, asking, who are you? He sighed once, then looked up and answered briefly, protector. The scene shifted to a strange place, where a blonde girl was inhaling a scent. Oddly, it smelled like Green, but wasn't. Jai-T looked down at the girl below. Gold cheerfully asked, who are you, uncle? The little girl wondered, you're not a bad person, right? On the battlefield, Yu Jai-T was facing Javier. He questioned again, protector. That girl looks like she doesn't need anyone to protect her. From her hiding spot, Red peeked out to watch the battle. Is that the guy you mentioned? Green hurriedly pulled her back. It's dangerous, come back quickly. Meanwhile, Yu Jai-T made a proposal, explaining everything is complicated, but let's stop this here. Javier suspiciously asked, stop what? He stepped forward, suddenly appearing and babbling. What is this about? This matter can't be ignored. That brat crossed the line. Yu Jai-T objected that she hadn't killed anyone yet. Javier, angry, said don't mess with me. Yu Jai-T didn't care. He continued, the girl's not going to be here long. I'm serious, so can you let her go? Javier slowly sheathed his sword. You think I'll back down because of words like that? He took an offensive stance. This area is under San's control. Javier growled, I'm a San investigator. I'll arrest both the girl and you, the one who calls himself her protector. He swung his sword and a massive mana burst released, lighting up the air. The energy destroyed everything in its path. The surrounding rock shattered. Javier finished his attack and stood proudly in place. Javier turned away with contempt. If you're with that monster, then you should be able to take this hit. Unexpectedly, Yu Jai-T still appeared, not a scratch on him. A mysterious energy enveloped him, infuriating. He was annoyed. Rumor says he's an S-rank 8 but stubborn, huh? Javier turned back. When did he circle behind us? He tried to use his sword skill again, but before he finished, the arm and sword were severed. The strike came so fast Javier couldn't even register that an arm had been cut off. Yu Jai-T descended from the air. He swept past Javier, who was slumped on the ground, and said, listen up. Today will be the worst day of your life. Yu Jai-T's eyes were furious. Each word struck into his head. You unfortunately encountered an unexpected monster while pursuing that girl. He leaned close and whispered, and you couldn't handle its attacks, resulting in the loss of both hands and your sight. In the end, you let both targets slip away. Yu Jai-T placed the sword at Javier's eye level and continued to threaten. Finally, you'll forget all of this. His hands gripped Javier's head. Javier begged in fear, wait. Not making him wait, the sword decisively slashed. Yu Jai-T knew San had S-rank healers so hands or eyes could be restored. But fear, once ingrained, cannot be erased. Blood still stained the ground. Fear proved effective, as seen here, and Yu Jai-T used it well. He didn't finish Javier off, but left him alive after blinding. He turned back and the young dragon called the Night Hunter was not immune to this either. Red witnessed everything, her body frozen as she stammered, hey, Green, what exactly is that thing? Green corrected her, he's not a monster, he's human. Red scoffed, ha, if he's human then I'm just a goddamn lizard. Yu Jai-T stepped toward the two and declared, Red Dragon, you'll live in my house under my protection. He persuaded her, I'll give you enough freedom and will support you if you need anything. Yu Jai-T's face darkened as a warning, but if you leave this protection. Suddenly Green loudly called, Uncle. She hugged Red, I think Red's in shock. Let me calm her down and explain later, okay? Red was surprised by her action. What are you doing to me? Green winked at Yu Jai-T. Receiving the signal, he fell silent for a moment. Then Jai-T turned away. From now on your name is Yu Yo Riem. Remember that. I'll explain everything later. Red mumbled Yu Riem back. Yu Jai-T looked up at the sky. Behind them came the argument between Red and Green. Green praised Red. You've grown since last time. And Red angrily snapped. I'm not in the mood for jokes right now. Yu Jai-T was reporting to someone. The situation has been handled, my lord. At the same time, deep in the Amazon rainforest, another Ujit received a signal that Gold was happily playing ahead. Ujit praised, "Well done." Speaking to a clone, "I'll finish up here and return immediately." Before starting the mission, Ujit had carefully considered that the girl was utterly feral, so a mere duplicate would struggle to persuade her. Luckily, U-Bomb was sent along. Gold ran up and sat in front of him. The girl asked who he had been talking to, and Ujit denied it, nothing. Gold mischievously, "Yo, your smartwatch is so weird. Does it narrate for itself?" The golden dragon, like all golden dragons, loved attention. She had spent a third of her 6 lives as a star. Those who shone brightest were also the dragons who caused the most destruction. The crowd's love, though glamorous, has a dark side. That's probably why she ended up in this wilderness. Gold was still absorbed playing with Ujit's smartwatch. Uncle, this is so cool." The girl excitedly waved her wings, and the screen projected into the air with a super sharp image. "I've never seen anything like this before." Ujit asked, "Why are you here?" Gold flinched, "Huh." Ujit leaned back and continued, "If you want entertainment, you should live with humans. There are only wild beasts and insects here." Gold suddenly jumped up. "How did you know?" Ujit answered briefly. "The green dragon mentioned it." Gold excitedly ran around Ujit. "Oh, that explains why I smelled her on you, so you know green." Ujit said in a low voice, "Gold, I'm asking you direct. Now are you afraid of humans?" The girl froze. Gold, embarrassed, said, "Oh, it's not that I'm afraid of humans. I used to live with them." The girl recounted sadly that people would look at her with strange eyes. Someone kept following her, which was kind of scary, something like that. Gold leaned back against Ujit and gave a wry smile. "Well, that's that." Ujit changed the subject. "Do you like bread?" Gold was about to refuse bread. "I'm a dragon, I don't need to eat." Ujit snapped his fingers. A black streak appeared in the sky, the shallowest layer of the void, a pocket dimension that could swallow a city. From its strange arms reached out with a bag of bread delivered straight to Ujit. Gold gaped in amazement. "Wow." The girl peered curiously. "Huh, it's really bread." Gold happily cried out, "It's bread." Her eyes sparkled at the aroma. "You're really giving this to me?" Ujit held out his hand. "Yes." Gold was still stunned to see so many pastries inside. "Wow, you have so many, donuts, and even blueberry custard tart." Ujit began to persuade her. "Gold, don't stay here, come with me. There you'll have friends, you'll be safe, and if you like entertainment, you can join that field." Gold was munching bread while listening to Jai speak. The girl licked her lips, still cautious, but her mother told her never to follow strangers. Ujit delivered his final move. "I'll buy you pastries." At that one line, Gold seemed to have found the light of truth in her life. A morning came again to the city where Ujit lived. The building he resided in welcomed new members today. Red leaned against the railing, gazing at the peaceful scene outside. A cigarette between her lips. Red Chinese letter, recall. The events of yesterday had unfolded too quickly, from the battle with Javier to the appearance of Ujit. These things irritated Red. Inside the house behind the glass, Green looked out. Seeing Red lost in thought, Green was about to call out Red when familiar footsteps sounded from outside. Ujit returned with Gold. The girl held a bag of bread and looked around in awe. "So you live here?" "Oh, and just to be clear, I'm absolutely not following you for the bread," Gold babbled on. "That sausage roll was really good. Better than premium escalopa sausage." As she spoke, she popped another pastry into her mouth. Suddenly Gold froze, startled and amazed. Satisfaction lit Gold's face. "What is this macaron? Crispy outside, yet impossibly soft inside. This is the taste of heaven." Seeing Ujit return, Green was delighted. "You're back." He replied, "Yeah." Gold, who had been eating, only then noticed Green and excitedly shouted, "Wow, Green." Green replied gently, "Long time no see, Gold." The girl launched herself into Green's arms. "It's been so long, I missed you so much." Green carefully ruffled Gold's head. "You look prettier than the last time I saw you, Gold." The two happily danced around the house. Gold took the chance to ask, "When did you get here? Do you live here alone with him?" Green cheerfully explained, "I haven't been here long either. Red's over there. Will you go say hi later?" A clone of Ujit appeared and bowed respectfully. "My lord, you're home." Ujit praised, "Yes, you've worked hard. I'll call you back soon. Return to your post." The clone obeyed. Red walked in from outside. Ujit saw her too. She felt awkward, clicked her tongue, and avoided Ujit's gaze. Gold, like a child, was overjoyed to see Red and didn't notice the atmosphere around. Flitting like a little bird, Gold hopped around Red, chirping nonstop. "You okay? That smell, are you smoking again?" "Huh, the Red clan really loves unhealthy habits, huh." Red, annoyed, grabbed the girl's beak. "Kiddo." Red snapped, "You're provoking me. Stop babbling before I tear you apart, understood?" Gold felt hurt. Red is violent. After a while, Yu Jai-T settled things down. The three sat in chairs opposite him, and he began to ask how old they were. They answered in turn. Green replied, I'm 20. Gold happily, I'm 10. When it came to Red, she refused to answer, so Yu Jai-T answered for her. Yo, Riem is 16. Gold flipped her hair proudly, showing off her plump form. Dragons mature faster than humans, so don't treat me like a child. Red stared at the girl, showing off huh. Gold wondered, earlier you called Red Yo Riem. Is that a nickname? Red raised an eyebrow. I don't know. Green quickly explained, that's the name he gave her. I'm Bomb. Gold remained curious. Huh, we haven't even had our coming-of-age rituals. How could he name you? Besides, he wouldn't pick something so simple. The girl continued chatting with Green. Then I must be Ga Yul. Yu Jai-T confirmed, that's right. Your name from now on is Yu Ga-ul. And when it is born, it will be Jai-Yo-ul. Gold looked down at the necklace she wore on her chest. Gold continued asking, do you know that's Blue's egg? Yu Jai-T even knew the details. Yes, it's a polymorph, right? It's about to hatch, so be careful. The girl marveled at Yu Jai-T's profundity. Wow, you're human, but there truly isn't anything you don't know. How do you know so much? Yu Jai-T coldly replied, that's none of your concern. Yu Jai-T propped his hand on his chin and announced seriously, since everyone is here, I'll make it clear once more. From now on, you only need to follow one rule. Play freely, but don't leave the fence. Gold asked what he meant. Yu Jai-T explained it meant don't disappear from my sight. Jai-T clarified that all your games will be managed by me and only take place where I can see them. Red sighed, honestly you sound like a dictator. As soon as she finished, Red realized the two beside her were staring at her. What's the problem? Green stood up from her chair, understood, so staying nearby is fine, right? She looked like a gentle mother. Hey kids, want to go out for a bit? We live here now, so we need to do paperwork and buy necessities. At that, Gold's eyes lit up with excitement. Oh, sounds fun. Red curled her lip with a wicked face. We have no money to shop, but robbing some sounds fun too. Yu Jai-T tossed a wallet to Green. Don't worry about money, just go and have fun. She took the wallet happily and asked politely, thank you, is there a spending limit? Yu Jai-T turned his back and left, leaving just a few words. Take as much as you want. With Yu Jai-T's approval, the three began sweeping the shopping mall. By evening, Yu Jai-T's notification board lit up with a stream of messages, deducting money from the account. The three had bought a lot. Shopping bags piled up inside the house. Green stepped forward to return the wallet to Yu Jai-T, feeling shy. She sat down beside him, apologizing. Sorry, we may have overspent. Actually, I wanted to buy clothes for you too, but the card had expired, so I couldn't. Yu Jai-T took the wallet back. It's fine. Gold's voice rang out. My lord, look at me. Yu Jai-T looked up at the call. The girl had on a bunch of the items they had bought, from ethereal muse styles to streetwear to simple outfits. Pretty, right? There were so many nice things, I bought a ton. The girl held up the smartwatch she bought. I bought this too, just like yours. Yu Jai-T praised simply. It suits you. Gold blushed happily. Thank you, you're the best. Red saw the two getting cozy. Her face grew thoughtful. She also raised the hand wearing a watch and shyly asked, was this bought for me? Then she scratched her head and picked up a sword. And this too, my sword was broken and unusable. Yu Jai-T inquired, do you like it? I bought a good quality one. Red turned away. At least it's not junk. Gold ran out of the changing room carrying several bags. I also bought clothes for you. Sis, try them on. Red, annoyed, snapped, who said you're my sister? I don't need them. Green gently told Yu Jai-T, Yo Riem just isn't good at showing it. She's really grateful. Yu Jai-T relaxed. That's good then. He turned and asked Bomb, didn't you buy anything? Why aren't you holding anything? Green pointed to the item on the table. I did buy something. That's on the dining table. Yu Jai-T was puzzled. A potted plant. On the table was a small pot with a flower that hadn't bloomed yet. Green stepped up to the table. Planting makes people happy, you know. Yu Jai-T still didn't get what she meant. She took the pot gently and said, because it will bloom. Green cradled the pot, so it will be very memorable, right? Her eyes sparkled forever. Suddenly she remembered something. Green turned and said, oh right, I'm curious about something. Yu Jai-T asked, what is it? She wondered about Yu Jai-T's conditions. But you know, playing with us isn't just about fun and food. Is there a way to fully enjoy the games within the fence you set? Yu Jai-T, as if prepared for the question, immediately answered, of course. He produced a sheet of paper. Do you want to try going to school? Outside, Gold and Red had overheard the whole conversation and both lunged forward. Gold curiously, school. Night had fallen, they're back now. Red stretched, oh my, that interview was one thing, but why did it take so long? Green glanced around. Huh, he's not here. Gold suddenly said, hey sis, I just thought of something terrible. What if you two pass, but I'm the only one who fails? Would I be left alone and unable to enter the lair? Red snapped, this kid keeps saying unlucky things. Someone shove a bread roll into that pig's mouth. Gold sulked, so I'm going to fail because I'm a pig. Ujit entered from behind. Good job on the interview, everyone. Hearing that, Gold leapt into his arms and burst into tears. My lord, I probably failed. He comforted her. Don't worry, you didn't fail. Green asked, where did you come back? Ujit produced a paper bag. I just went to pack this. The girl next to him sniffed the aroma. It smells so good. What is it? He replied, something you like. Gold's eyes lit up. Bread or macaron? Ujit smiled mysteriously. It's even better than that. Tonight's dinner, he was honored to host a special guest. Please welcome the global pop star Baby Yellow. Hey everyone, thanks for inviting me to such a wonderful playground. The MC asked BY if she understood tonight's theme. Gold answered, of course. This is where she gets to taste delicious food. She's really looking forward to it. The MC introduced. Exactly. Tonight's show will feature top chefs preparing the guests' favorite dishes on the spot. What does Bai like best? Rumor has it you survive on morning dew alone. Is that true? Gold laughed. Oh, she's human too, who only eats dew to survive. Gold thought, let's see, my favorite dish is. An image of sauced fried chicken with cola appeared instantly. Gold craved the enticing aroma. This must be delicious. Red asked, hey, I heard this is your favorite dish. What's wrong? First time seeing it, the girl said happily. Yeah, it will be your favorite from now on. Red wondered, it's just fried chicken, what the fuss about? Green chimed in, won't you join them? Ujit declined. You guys go ahead and eat. She blushed shyly and pleaded, eat with us. On the balcony, the sky had darkened. The space was enveloped in stillness. Ujit stood there taking a call. Hello. On the other end, hello, they were calling from the Lair administration office. Are you Ujit, guardian of U-Bomb? He answered, yes, that's right. They informed him, there's a small issue regarding the recent interview. What's the issue? Has the guardian heard U-Bomb's story? You haven't heard. U-Bomb scored a perfect mark in the entrance interview. The judges unanimously praised him, so they want to propose Bomb as the valedictorian to deliver the oath at this year's entrance ceremony. Ujit asked if they had proposed it directly to Bomb. They replied, yes, the judges were so excited, they asked the candidate right away. The problem is Bomb refused. This is a rare opportunity, so if the guardian can persuade Bomb. Ujit refused, sorry, but I don't want to. If that's her decision, it's mine too. Anyway, he hung up. Just then Red came out from inside, so that call was about her. Ujit reminded her, call her Bomb. She retorted with concern, what? The name Bomb gives me goosebumps. Old man, are you still into playing pretend family? He annoyedly asked, what are you trying to say? Red looked at the cigarette in her hand, pondering something. Why did you bring them into the lair? She asked again. Ujit stared into the distance. To let you girls do as you please. Red bluntly said she wanted to fight. Are there a lot of strong kids there? If they've gathered elite fighters from around the world, certainly. But they're still just kids, he laughed. You're a kid too. Red furrowed her brow, her gaze sharpening. She decisively tossed the cigarette out onto the balcony. Have a proper fight with me. I know you're strong, but I want to know exactly how strong. If you see me as a lower rank, then show me your true power. Ujit looked at Red with a solemn expression and said nothing. Come on, go eat the chicken. Red snapped, you're such a bore. He coldly said, fine. She got angrier, fine what? Get lost. Gold offered a piece of chicken. Try a bite, sis. Red was boiling mad. I told you I wouldn't eat, go eat it yourself. But her hand still took the chicken, and she bit into it. Red's eyes widened in astonishment. She praised the chicken. It's so tasty, truly wonderful. Lair is an educational academy built on a colossal floating island, Heitling, that flies around the world. It trains children who possess Gaho and Ni, special ability. But students at Lair are mostly wealthy heirs, aristocrats, or those selected by elite academy. Public opinion criticizes that this place is only for the privileged. Gold exclaimed, wow, this really is a top school. I heard only rich kids or nobility get in. The girl gushed, is he secretly some wealthy heir? He didn't scold us for splurging. Green agreed, it's hard to say, looks like it from his appearance. She brightened up anyway, we're lucky we all passed. Gold happily jumped. Yeah, I thought I was the only one who failed, so happy. The uniforms are nice too. The girl paused, but where are Yo Riem and Ujit? Green stroked her chin thoughtfully. Yo Riem went to take a practical exam at Than Long School. He went as her guardian. Gold blinked in puzzlement. Guardian. At Lair, to monitor inexperienced potential students, adults from agencies or families accompany them as guardians. That makes sense. If Yo Riem wasn't supervised, she'd be dangerous. But does Yo Riem have to retake the exam? Green replied, I heard it's a practice match between reserve students. Gold excitedly, then we have to go watch. Green said casually, ask and they won't let us. Gold sadly, oh, why's that? Green forced a smile, hesitating slightly. because if we all go it'll cause a ruckus. Suddenly someone spoke up, is that a new student this year? Which family are they from? At Than Long's school, the students are engaged in fierce competition. The crowd erupted with loud, excited cheers. Jai T sat quietly amid the noisy crowd. What if they get hit? Do exactly what you've been taught, just follow through. Wei Yuan curled his lip in a grim smile. Haha, parents, I understand your feelings. Please stay calm. If you act like that, the reserve students will only get more nervous. Among the spectators, someone asked, are you? Ah, belated introduction. I am the homeroom professor of Than Long. Wei Yuan pleased to collaborate. The audience chorused, yes, we look forward to your help. The crowd buzzed. Wow, he's so handsome and refined, and his personality seems good too. Someone objected, personality good. He's skilled, wealthy, and moreover, he's a war hero. He fell silent and glanced around. Contestant number 124 and number 7. Enter. After the announcement, Red clenched the wooden sword tightly. She walked in with a bored, disdainful air, slowly advancing, so utterly fed up. The opponent frowned at her, eyes full of suspicion. Red scowled and grimaced. I'll run away from home, you'll see. The two stood motionless facing each other on the arena floor. Below the stands, people kept gossiping. Hey, who do you bet will win, Sofia Vorkova or the red-haired kid? A friend beside them winked and quickly judged. They're both talented, but I prefer the redhead. The guy next to him snapped. I asked who you think will win. He smiled faintly, raised an eyebrow, glanced over, and said quietly, of course, Sophia. People looked up at Sophia's cold, indifferent demeanor in the stands in awe. She used to be a member of RIL before entering the academy. Speaking of RIL, it's Russia's monster hunting special forces, famed for their exploits in the Great War. They were especially notorious for a training program so brutal it was like torture. At that moment outside the barrier, Mikhail, with a fierce face, stared at the stands and shouted loudly, everyone has high expectations for that one, Sophia. He clung to the railing, wildly cheering. You can do it, you'll definitely win. A security team hurriedly appeared behind Mikhail and warned, Mr. Mikhail, guardians are not permitted to be here. Sophia heard the commotion outside the arena and was momentarily speechless. Suddenly, a clear, taunting voice pulled her back to the moment. Your dad worries about you too much, Yoriam said arrogantly and confidently, sword in hand, mocking Sophia. It's not too late to retreat back to your daddy. The kid clinging to his father's coat said, no, you're a girl so you're the one clinging to your dad, right? Sophia paid no mind to Yoriam's taunt and calmly retorted in a way that surprised her. You should shut up. Sophia's face darkened, her eyes blazing threateningly at Yoriam. Do you want to die for real? Seeing her expression take the challenge, Yoriam grew excited and said, fine, if you're so eager then come on and try. The two friends seated below felt a chill at the sight of the two girls, creepy, truly real people. He widened his eyes in horror, but the red-haired kid wasn't to be underestimated either. Jai T sat beside them, seriously observing the match. An announcement sounded, contestants 124 and 7, take your places. Upon hearing the referee's voice, Sophia clenched both hands into a ready fighting stance. Yoriam was much more relaxed, as if she was certain she'd win this match. With the echoing whistle and the referee's call, the match began. As soon as the words ended, Sophia shot forward like lightning, attacking Yoriam and catching her completely off guard. But immediately she reflexively stepped back, using her arm to block Sophia's strike. She grabbed Sophia's fist firmly and smiled slightly, assessing, not bad speed. Then with her other hand, Yoriam violently swung the wooden sword in a sudden chop toward her. Sophia nimbly dodged the blow. At the same time, she spun and delivered a strong kick to Yoriam's temple, surprising. Yoriam couldn't avoid that attack in time, and could only use her arm to absorb it and lean back. As she leaned back to evade, Sophia's strike quickly followed. Yoriam screamed in horror, my shirt. Yoriam stumbled backward, furious, shouting at her. I just bought this not long ago, that's outrageous. Sophia paid no mind. Her legs were still driving power from that strike. Her body felt light on the arena floor as she subtly shifted her feet. Without giving Yoriam time to recover, Sophia quickly gathered momentum and lunged back into position. Sophia unleashed a series of extremely powerful, skillful punches, yet Yoriam managed to dodge each one with effortless, fluid movements. While evading, her gaze fell on the sturdy protective netting surrounding the arena. Yoriam then pushed off hard against the protective netting. Using that momentum, she spun around to face Sophia's incoming strike head-on. She grinned with exhilaration, raised the wooden sword high, and brought it down with force. Sophia reacted instantly, using both arms to absorb Yoriam's blow. But the strike carried tremendous force. The bones in Sophia's forearms took the impact and began to crack and break. Sophia felt the pain in both arms, her face contorted, and she let out a soft cry. Yoriam grew more exhilarated the harder she struck, Seeing Sophia endure the pain pulled her deeper into the fight. Both stood motionless on the arena for a moment, rendering the space silent. Then Yo-Riem seemed to teleport and instantly appeared behind Sophia. To Sophia's astonishment, Yo-Riem taunted in a jeering tone, "Hey, yellow-banged kid." Her face showed pure excitement. Her fists seemed to gather all her strength as she mocked, "Fighting is fun, isn't it?" Yo-Riem's fist whizzed and slammed hard into Sophia's face. She took the blow full on, her body flying backward and smashing into the barrier. When Sophia regained herself, she spat out a mouthful of blood. At that moment, the tip of the wooden sword was pressed straight against Sophia's forehead, leaving her utterly stunned. Yo-Riem stood in front holding the wooden sword, looking at her with full confidence. With the announcement sounding, "It's over, contestant 124 wins." As soon as the referee's announcement ended, Yo-Riem covered her mouth and laughed mockingly. "You were all show earlier, and now you're a pile of trash." Sophia sat dazed and furious at the result, staring wide-eyed as Yo-Riem walked away. Yo-Riem turned and left, muttering nonstop, "What global elite, just a bunch of garbage." Mikhaler and the medics rushed over to Sophia. The two friends below couldn't help but be horrified. Sophia lost miserably, but the match seemed evenly matched at first. The friend beside him, hearing that, couldn't believe it and thought silently, "Evenly matched my foot. The redhead barely even got scratched. She's just playing." The discussions among those under the arena spread wider. "The redhead that's strong. I think Sophia was always trash." Sophia sat motionless on the arena floor receiving treatment as she heard the chatter. She was only a backup member of Rill for show. Weak skills but pretty, so she wears the emblem. Sophia clenched her teeth, lowering her face under the criticism and ridicule of those around her. A medic informed Mikhaler of her condition. "We've given first aid. She'll be fine. Both arms are fractured." Her limp hands suddenly clenched tightly in sheer unwillingness. Sophia's voice rang out, trembling with anger. "It's not over. Gil be fine." Mikhaler saw her like this and couldn't help but smile softly. He stepped closer and gently reassured her. "Sophia, you did your best. It's a pity you weren't strong enough to defeat that opponent." His voice remained gentle and steady. "I'm not disappointed. Meeting an opponent like that is a blessing." But Mikhaler didn't notice Sophia's expression shifting. She stared at the dagger at his side with a terrifying look. Mikhaler continued soothing her softly. "Failure will forge you into a stronger person." He kept his eyes closed as he lectured. "I'll report to the superiors." At that moment, a medic's puzzled voice called out, "Guardian, where's the contestant?" Both were utterly surprised by Sophia's action. She grabbed the dagger, furious and muttering that she hadn't given up, only lost momentum. The dagger in her hand suddenly flashed, emitting a light that spread around. Her voice rang out, startling Yo-Riem as well. "It's not over. Where do you think you're running off to?" As she turned back, a sharp pain stabbed Yo-Riem's back. Sophia thrust the dagger hard into Yo-Riem's back, shocking her. Yu-Jai-T's face darkened when he saw this unexpected scene. Yo-Riem's eyes bulged at Sophia's vicious act. She ground her teeth and shouted. Her face bulged with veins as she screamed hoarsely, "Die, you bit." Everyone present froze at Sophia's sudden action. Even the teachers, observing, wore looks of horror. Yu-Jai-T stared gloomily and sullenly at the arena floor. Sophia's strike seemed to channel all her strength into it, blasting both of them off the arena. Both lost momentum and immediately slammed hard onto the ground. Yo-Riem clutched the blood-soaked dagger embedded in her and sighed. She looked at her wound with a numb lack of pain and laughed loudly. "So you wanted to fight, huh?" But then she suddenly flinched and looked toward Sophia. She went mad and lunged straight at Yo-Riem, wildly attacked. Yo-Riem nimbly dodged Sophia's strike, causing her to skid to one side. Immediately after, she grabbed a handful of her hair and pulled it back. Sophia cried out, eyes wide, in pain from having her hair yanked. Yo-Riem didn't give her a chance to recover and punched hard. "You're as good as dead." Her fist struck Sophia squarely in the face. Yo-Riem kept landing blows on Sophia until she was spattered with blood. Everyone who saw this screamed in horror. Won't anyone stop? With one final blow, Yo-Riem struck so hard that Sophia was flung toward the rows of seats behind them, shocking everyone. Sophia's face swelled from the beating, and she lost consciousness. Yo-Riem drew the dagger from her and stepped closer to her. "It's not over yet." Her eyes turned red and savage as she advanced. "I'll give you back exactly what you did to me." Suddenly an arm shot out and seized the wrist holding the dagger. Mikhaler, face fierce, gripped her hand and shouted, "That's enough, stop this at once." Yo-Riem, restrained by him, grew furious. "Let go of me." Seeing the chaos, Wei Yuan immediately shouted orders. "Mages, form a combat space now. Pause the interview." The mages heard him and instantly joined together to create the combat space. Everyone divided into zones and combined their efforts to shape the space around the two. A circle of runes appeared around Mikhaler and Yo-Riem. the combat space engaged. He threw the dagger forcefully to the floor and shouted, "Why did you target my daughter like that?" Yoriam stood her ground unafraid and argued back at Mikhaler, saying the other girl provoked her first. He snapped, "So you planned to kill Sophia." Hearing his hysterical tone, she flew into a rage. "Should I have just stood there and let her beat me?" Mikhaler grew angrier, saying with your skill you only needed to subdue her light. Yoriam looked extremely angry, her voice rising. "What nonsense is that? Go take care of your daughter." Wei Yuan stepped in calmly with a conciliatory tone. "Everyone calm down, the atmosphere is getting too tense." He smiled faintly and comforted Yoriam. "Besides, for student Yoriam, our teacher has already gone to find your guardian. Please behave and get your wounds treated first." On hearing that, she spun toward him, still fuming, and snapped, "Behave, I'm still furious." Wei Yuan, unfazed by her attitude, soothed gently. "I understand how Yoriam feels, but we can't let the situation worsen." Yoriam heard that and looked somewhat bewildered and puzzled. Seeing her calm, Wei Yuan stepped closer to explain. "If you keep causing trouble, I won't be able to protect a student like you. Your entire clan could be implicated." Then he leaned in and quietly reminded her, "The Yu clan, right? It's not just you, Yoriam." His words made her recall the bright faces of gold and green. Yoriam's expression fell, filled with resignation and fear. If others will be affected because of her, she won't be at ease, right? Wei Yuan had hit her weak spot. He smiled faintly with satisfaction. "So wait for the guardian to arrive." Suddenly, a low voice sounded beside them. No need to look any further. Yu Jai-Ti stepped in and introduced himself, surprising him. "I am Yu Jai-Ti, the guardian of that kid." His face was tired and cold as he warned, "Don't force an injured student, come talk to me." Both of them were stunned by his unexpected arrival. Seeing Yu Jai-Ti made Yoriam even more withdrawn. She pressed her lips tightly and stayed silent. Outside, the large building stood in the center of the camp. Wei Yuan slowly brought tea to introduce to Mikhaler and Yu Jai-Ti. "This is a famous Taiwanese oolong. I wonder if it suits your taste." He smiled gently, trying to reconcile the two. "They say tea calms the spirit." Wei Yuan watched Yu Jai-Ti carefully and cautiously. Yu Jai-Ti from the Yu clan. Judging by how easily he disrupted the combat space, he must be a high-tier vein core. He pondered Yu Jai-Ti's cold, distant expression. "I've never heard of this clan. This needs investigation." Wei Yuan had sat silently between them from the start. When he took a seat, his tone was a bit awkward. "I don't know where to begin." His opening words aimed to soothe both sides. "First, I'm sorry about what happened to both of you." Mikhaler still looked angry and glared seriously, while Yu Jai-Ti stared at him coldly and impassively. He recalled Sophia's swollen face and breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, neither was seriously injured, and he heard Yoriam has been discharged. Wei Yuan lifted his cup toward them in a conciliatory gesture and explained, "So there's no need to escalate. We're going to meet often at Qinglong Institute. Let's end this peacefully here. If you agree, I'll handle the rest." Mikhaler's expression was extremely serious, but somewhat soft. He sighed, lowering his gaze before speaking. "The cause came from my daughter first, so I apologize. I am Mikhaler, Sophia's guardian." He apologized sincerely and kept explaining that Sophia was still young and immature, and in this matter, she let emotion override reason. Before Mikhaler finished, Yu Jai-Ti cut him off. "I do not accept a guardian's apology." Hearing that, Mikhaler immediately erupted and stood up. But Yu Jai-Ti remained unfazed and continued. "What meaning do apologies from others have?" He didn't understand Yu Jai-Ti's implication and couldn't help issuing a threat. "Stubborn, we're both guardians. Accept the apology and end this. Don't you know what organization I belong to?" Yu Jai-Ti stayed calm and stared at him, asking, "We're not the same. Do people in your position apologize like that?" Mikhaler snapped angrily. "Do you want me to bring the injured child here to apologize?" Upon hearing that, he immediately complied without hesitation. Mikhaler roared in fury. "This guy really is." Sitting between them, Wei Yuan hurried to mediate. "Calm down, guardian." Yu Jai-Ti continued his point. "I'm not here for that girl. I just want to know why you didn't stop the child from drawing her sword and running in at that moment." Mikhaler, hearing the questioning suspicion, darkened and yelled that it was an unexpected situation. Upon hearing his answer, Yu Jai-Ti's cold remark echoed through the room. "Unexpected, that's a flimsy excuse." Mikhaler angrily stepped toward him at Yu Jai-Ti's next words. "Blaming children for his own incompetence, aren't you ashamed?" He grabbed Yu Jai-Ti's collar and said in a low voice, "Look, friend, there's a limit to civil discourse." His eyes turned blue as a bluish light shimmered between them. Mikhaler's tone carried an intense threat. "Do you intend to drag the real organization into this petty fight?" Mikhaler's face grew ferocious with anger. "It's just an obscure clan." Suddenly a chill ran through Mikhaler, filling him with dread. Mikhaler immediately stepped back and the boy's voice rang gently, "An iron-bladed knife, that was close dangerous." He stared at the boy in horror, wondering since when. Michaela looked in shock at the dagger that was no longer at his feet and at Yu Jai-T's casual remark. The sheath was so loose. No wonder the child secretly pulled it out without noticing. He stared at the sheath in astonishment. I had already heightened my senses to the limit, yet suddenly the boy's cold voice whispered his name, Michaela. Yu Jai-T stepped behind him and lightly tapped his back, whispering, "Travel the crowded route, avoid secluded places." That offhand warning in the dagger plunged into the table left Michaela frozen in terror. His face drained completely as he sensed the killing intent coming from the boy. Yu Jai-T quickly grabbed the vest from the chair and left the meeting room. "I'm leaving once this is done." After he departed, the two others in the room remained motionless in shock. Wei Yuan, face stunned, suddenly let out an involuntary laugh. As Yu Jai-T left the room, he noticed Yo Riem standing outside. She stood there with a sulky face, looking extremely worried. He turned to leave but couldn't help asking with concern, "Are you all right?" Yo Riem replied, "Just a light hit, and you know, the Red Clan has great vitality." His soft words made her fall into thought. "Then that's fortunate." She then stepped forward to ask, "Do you think I was wrong?" Before Yu Jai-T could answer, Yo Riem confessed her feelings to him. "I just feel like everything that happened was my fault." She blushed slightly, nervously rubbing her hair. "It's kind of unfair, but right now I wish I'd been more mature then." Yu Jai-T immediately cut off her thoughts, surprising her. "No, you did very well." Then Yu Jai-T turned to her seriously and advised, "Next time, remember to kill it where no one can see." Yo Riem stood motionless as he walked away. Her face lit up with happiness, and she breathed out a long, relieved sigh. She slowly followed Yu Jai-T, exclaiming, "Did you really tell me to do that? Don't regret it later." Yu Jai-T strode down the corridor with Red and told Yo Riem to go home and pack. She wondered, "Why? Where do I have to go?" Yu Jai-T said as they walked, "You'll be moving to live in Lair." "Oh, you mean living in the dormitory?" She couldn't help picturing the girl's excited face, like a newly hatched chick. "Ha ha!" Suddenly a voice made them both turn their heads. Guardian Yu Jai-T. Wei Yuan smiled, taking his hand. "May I speak with you for a moment?" He replied bluntly, "I thought we had already settled everything." Wei Yuan said, "Yes, I know, but there's an important matter concerning student Yo Riem that she should hear as well." Red shrugged and didn't care. "I don't want to hear any preachy lectures." Wei Yuan laughed, "Ha ha, it's not a lecture, it's a beneficial proposal." She was surprised by the question. "Yo Riem, would you like to be the freshman representative of Qinglong Institute?" Red asked again, "Freshman representative." He described her image as the serious student representative. "That's right, you'll be the face of the academy. Big scholarship, rare treasures, and even media exposure." Yu Jai-T asked suspiciously, "This proposal is sudden. Does the professor have the authority to decide this?" Wei Yuan replied, "Don't worry, I'm close with Vice Principal Ma Nam-jun." He frowned, "Consider it carefully, Mr. Yu Jai-T." Faced with Wei Yuan's leading words, Yu Jai-T was silent. This opportunity is rare. Others won't get a chance like this. He thought to himself, of course they're close. Because Ma Nam-jun is one of the Ma people. Ma people differ from the superhumans blessed by grace. They are those who accepted the abyss. Bloodthirsty, murderous, and filled with dark lust. That is their nature. The world nearly perished because of these monsters. In Lives 1 and 2, Yu Jai-T also lost something important to him. So when he first saw that professor appear, he had thought about dealing with that Maw man thousands of times. But in the end, he held back. Jai-T thought inwardly that this man deserved a more painful death. He said, "I understand your meaning." Yu Jai-T turned to look at Red, "But the important opinion is the students. I'm only the guardian." He stepped to Red's side. "Haha, yes, everything depends on her decision." Wei Yuan put a hand on her shoulder. "Yo Riem, many changes are coming to Qinglong Institute, especially at the year-end event. I want you to lead the student team." Then he took Red's hand and pleaded, "Help the professor shape a future for the academy, will you?" She calmly sighed and replied no. Wei Yuan did not believe it, no. "Did I hear wrong?" Red said irritably, "I heard you clearly." Then she turned to Yu Jai-T and said, "Let's go home. I told you to prepare to move." He asked in surprise, "Wait, then why did you come to the interview?" Red replied, "I was bored, just lying in my room all day." Wei Yuan, sweating, asked further and then. She yawned casually, "I was bored, so I wanted to mess around a bit for fun." Wei Yuan's thread of reason snapped, and he forced himself to contain his anger. Then Wei Yuan suddenly noticed and said, "Yo Riem, look down there." Red and Yu Jai-T glanced down and saw a crowd of reporters gathered in the courtyard. "What's that? Those people, are they reporters?" Wei Yuan explained, "They're reporters from everywhere, here to hear our statement about today's incident, with one sentence from me." He clasped his hands behind his back, implying to them that he could decide her future at Lair, understand. But she quickly ignored him and walked on. I don't get it, goodbye. Why Yuan could only laugh, haha. He watched silently as their backs disappeared. Then he dropped the friendly face he'd worn earlier. Don't let yourself regret this later. The reporters were startled. Oh, she's coming out. Could that be Yo Riem? The reporters swarmed forward. I'm a reporter from CT. Please tell us your view on the stabbing 2 hours ago here. From NSS, may I ask if you have any conflict with Sofia Vorkova? Red was taken aback by the lights, microphones, and questions thrust at her. Do you want to say anything about this incident? She said, what is wrong with you people? A reporter raised a mic and said, your interview segment is going viral in South Korea. Did you cause this disturbance to draw attention to your clan? Questions kept coming nonstop, making her angry. Yo Riem, please give us a short comment. Why did you apply to Kinglong Institute? What are you planning to do here? Seeing this, Yu Jai-T spoke up. Don't make things difficult for an injured child. Red frowned then smiled. Fine, if you want to hear, I'll answer. She snatched the mic, surprising the reporter. What am I doing here? Then Red laughed and spoke directly into the mic, in words unfit for broadcast. Elsewhere, the sky was clear and the sun golden. At the Lair dormitory, Gold squealed with delight. Wow. The girl jumped up for joy. Mom, it's so big. Gold hurried upstairs. Are we really going to live here? The nicest room is mine. Red said to the girl, hey, the biggest room is mine. The girl opened the door. Gold's eyes lit up, sparkling in surprise. She ran into the room exclaiming, what is this? This room is amazing. Gold ran around the room. A huge bed, the latest TV model, and sunlight flooding in. Gold stood at the balcony door. It's okay, I'll take this room then. Suddenly Red stood behind her and grinned. This balcony is perfect for smoking. This room's mine. Approved. The girl protested, what? I picked first. I'm saying the big room is mine. The next one is bigger. After getting bumped on the head, she reluctantly said, fine, take the room. Red smiled, good. In another room, an egg was being sprayed with water. Green was tending the egg. She spoke gently, hello, little one. Yu Jai-T behind her asked, why are you watering it? She replied, it's like prenatal care for a dragon. Because green dragons like water. When a dragon egg is about to hatch, the transformation will be triggered automatically. Green turned her head and asked, oh, have you heard about this? There's been a mess lately over Yo Riem's affairs. Yu Jai-T wondered, Yo Riem. She said the earlier interview of hers seems to be trending. Yu Jai-T checked his watch. She picked up the egg worriedly. Gosh, Jai-Al of mine didn't hear anything, did she? Red on the other side lounged in a chair casually. Those people, we were born this way. What's so surprising? Gold asked blankly, what is it, sis? She tilted her head back and laughed. Oh, you want to know? The girl answered, yes, do you know, sis? Red's face was sinister. Of course I know. Oh, darling, I must give you sex education. The girl was frightened. I don't need it. My mother says girls don't need to know too much. Red stuck out her tongue teasingly. You don't have the right to refuse, darling. She went to where Gold was covering her ears. I mean, I'll teach you about it. Wait, I said I don't want to hear it. Red grabbed the girl's hands tightly, making Gold scream, okay, I'll listen. A frantic scream rang out, help me, sir, leaving Yu Jai-T speechless, while Green quickly covered the female egg's ear. The sky was blue, birds chirped merrily on the branches. Red was lying asleep on the large bed. Sunlight shone across her beautiful face. Suddenly, someone was rushing up the stair. Gold opened the door and shouted, sis, wake up, something big is happening, which groggily roused Red. She propped herself up. This early, what's going on? I'm exhausted from staying up all night. The girl said, stayed up all night, huh? You were up late watching weird stuff again, weren't you? Red laughed, yeah, watching adult films. Gold said, HMPH, I knew it. Then the two of them went downstairs together. Anyway, now's not the time to talk about that, she yawned. It's nothing important, or I'll carve you up. Red, pay attention, what's up? She looked at the three people Yu Jai-T asked. What's going on that you all gathered this early? Green called Yo Riem, right. The egg on the pillow wiggled. It seems Jayo-ul is about to be born. Then the shell cracked open. They all focused on the egg, the birth of a little life. The last time Yu Jai-T witnessed the birth of a creature. It wasn't a very beautiful image. A weak person reaching out, please. She begged, please save my child, Ju-hee said. It's too late, Captain. She wailed, my child has stopped breathing. Ju-hee said, it seems it died right after birth. Yu Jai-T looked at the baby. It was due to the poor conditions. The war had destroyed the hospital. You listened in silence. If there had been a proper medical facility nearby, that memory wouldn't have been so unpleasant. Yu Jai-T thought, I thought I'd never remember that day again, so why is it coming back now? Red noticed, oh. The egg hatched, a tiny arm appeared, and wings appeared as well. She spoke as the image of a baby dragon emerging from the egg appeared. Oh, it's peeking its head out. Green gently, congratulations on your birth. Gold watched with delight. the little green dragon broke the egg, Jayo-ul. The dragon was carefully wiped down. Ujiti saw and asked, "You're pretty good with newborns. Where did you learn?" Green replied, "My mother used to do this for me. I should have licked it too, but never mind." She asked, "Would you like to hold it?" He answered no. Gold excitedly, "Hey, I want to hold it. I want to hold it." Green handed Jayo-ul to the girl. "Its skin is delicate, so be gentle." Gold nodded, "Okay." Then the girl cradled it lovingly. "Wow, it's so healing." Gold suddenly had an idea. The girl smiled, "Sis, you actually wanted to hold it too, right?" Red denied. "What, no way. If you want to hold it, then hold it yourself." Then the girl handed it to Red. "Hold it once. Come on, hurry up, sis." She was startled. "Hey, are you crazy? What are you doing all of a sudden?" Green laughed gently now. Jayo-ul yawned. Red's heart was stolen. Gold smiled. "Now you see why you should try holding it." Red admitted, "Well, it's cute." Then Red asked Ujiti, "Hey, we've all held it already. Why don't you try?" Gold added, "That's right. You'd be sad not to hold Jayo-ul." Red laughed, "Haha, planning to act all noble by yourself. Huh." She teased, "Then I'll throw it. Catch it yourself. If it gets knocked, you'll not blame me." Gold startled, "Are you really going to throw it?" Red grinned, "I came into this house with only one goal. Do you know what it is?" Then she braced to throw Jayo-ul. "It's that I want to see that rock panic." The girl panicked. "Ah, sis, you've really lost it." Before she could throw it, he took Jayo-ul from her hands. Gold murmured, "You caught that perfectly." Red pouted. "How boring," the girl said. "You really aren't normal at all." Green asked, "Since you've already picked him up, could you try petting him?" Ujiti hesitated for a moment, then reached out and touched him. He lightly touched Jayo-ul's forehead, like this, right? Gold captured the rare moment. "What are you doing?" The girl replied, "Hee. Such a rare sight. Moments like this should be saved as photos, right?" Green lifted the flower and said, "So let's take a commemorative photo of Jayo-ul's birth." Gold asked, "Sure, but what's that flower?" Green smiled. "It's a photo prop that makes the two of you, Red and Gold, curious." The flower was pinned to Ujiti's hair, and one was pinned to Jayo-ul as well. He was holding the girl in his arms. Red said, "The expression over there doesn't look great." Green covered her mouth and laughed. "What do you think? Is it okay?" Gold checked the photo. "While you both look perfect." He grew impatient. "Hurry up and take it quickly." Green pulled. Red puckered. "But do I really have to stand in? I'm so embarrassed." "Take it, Yoriam." Gold said, "Okay, get ready, 1, 2. A group photo of everyone was taken. Jayo-ul was drinking milk. "Come on, Jayo-ul, are you ready?" Ujiti asked what he was doing. Green stroked the girl's head. "Since the term hasn't started and we're free, I want to teach polymorph through transfer magic." Transfer magic is a spell that transmits knowledge to another person. By channeling mana into the recipient, the receiver can usually learn without having to pay any cost. But the giver bears the risk of draining life force. "Is that okay?" he said as Green held Jayo-ul up. "If he's in dragon form, it will be hard for him to go outside." She recounted that Yoriam, and Ga-Yul all learned polymorph in human form. But Jayo-ul hasn't learned anything yet. Jayo-ul waved his hand. "Because we grow quickly, I want him to have a fun experience before he grows up." Ujiti sat down in a chair. "If you need my help, just say so," she sighed. "What, you don't know anything about magic, do you?" Green said, "Then I have a request." She continued, "During the transfer, could you stay by our side?" He replied, "I know." Green glanced and said, "Why are you sitting so far away? You look indifferent." She patted the spot beside her. "Come closer, don't be shy." Ujiti responded, "It's not necessary to go that far." Green propped his chin, "Of course. If I get tired and drop Jayo-ul, having you close would catch him." Then Green complained, "If Jayo-ul bangs against the table, I couldn't bear the guilt." He thought for a moment, then sighed in resignation. Afterwards he moved to sit by Green, so there's no other way, right? The two of their shoulders touched. She blushed, so sturdy. Ujiti asked, Green startled, "Oh no, I mean the sofa is a bit hard." Ujiti said, "Strange, it's full-grain leather though." She focused, then pressed her head to Jayo-ul. A blue aura emanated from her. "I'm starting now." A few days later, in front of a large, luxurious house, Green collapsed onto the couch as if all strength had left him. Cough, "It's done." Ujiti walked over and spoke. "You've worked hard." She replied, "Lie down comfortably. You've worked hard sitting next to me too." Green listlessly stood up and said, "I'll go rest in my room for a bit. Don't forget to feed Jayo-ul and burp him." As she was speaking, she suddenly slipped. "If anything happens, wake me up, okay?" Green staggered, eyes wide with surprise. She fell into his arms by accident. Ujiti glanced down and said, "Let me take you to your room." Green's cheeks flushed red, hands pressed to his chest. She bashfully avoided his gaze. "Being carried like a princess makes me a bit embarrassed." Ujiti said without changing expression, "Are you kidding? That proves you're still well, right?" Green laughed out loud happily and asked, "Am I too heavy?" He answered briefly but deftly, light as a feather. She went on, Yu Jai-T didn't know how to respond. Wow, I didn't expect you to be so sweet-talk. Inside the bedroom, Green lay, still on the bed, breathing evenly. He gripped the edge of the door and tilted his head to look inside. Yu Jai-T gently closed the bedroom door. Suddenly, a face appeared out of nowhere. When he turned, it startled him. Yu Jai-T thought to himself, could it be time already? Among the sofas, a beam of light concentrated there. He approached and discovered a small girl sitting inside. The girl's body gradually materialized, and the light dispersed from there. As the light faded, the girl curled up, her eyes like someone just waking up. Jai-T saw the scene, a bit bewildered, and fell silent. He hesitated slightly, lips moving as he said, hello. The Lair precinct, in front of a tall, large building. 3 people crossing the street laughed. The superpower investigation team searched for months and couldn't catch those guys, yet you took them down in days. Did you see the chief's face earlier? I was so happy I could die. Kim Kang pulled out a shiny gold card and looked at him. Our golden boy Yu Jai-T, want something to eat? Today I'll treat the whole team to a feast. Karara nudged his arm teasingly. Team leader, you'll be using the company card, right? Kim Kang startled and forced a laugh. Shall we keep partying? Yu Jai-T suddenly spoke, making the two stop short. I'll be leaving early. I have personal business. He bowed slightly and they asked, why are you sneaking off again? You missed the last party too. Karara pushed up her glasses and added, you've been going home early lately. Suspicious. Senior, do you have a girlfriend now? He didn't look at them and replied indifferently, no, that's not it. Saying that, Yu Jai-T walked off despite them grabbing at him. So I'll leave early then. If you hate us, just say it. I'll try harder. Really no girlfriend, okay? Trust me. On the way, green leaves fluttered to the ground in the soft breeze. A girl on the street was walking and chatting happily. Yu Jai-T on the opposite side walked over and overheard the conversation. I told him not to send those nonsensical texts anymore. He immediately transformed into that girl. The Grand Duke's phantom now serves as a double acting on Yu Jai-T's behalf at work. In the past, the Demon Duke's skill was used to extend influence over distant kingdom, but after killing its previous master, it became a double of Yu Jai-T. The heavy click of high heels on the tiled floor rang out in the space. The double of Yu Jai-T stood motionless, eyes vacant, hands gripping a handbag. Not far away, Yu Jai-T was sitting on a wooden chair with his back turned. It walked over to him, placed a hand on his chest, bowed, Master, your servant reports. When the double opened its eyes, it froze at something it saw. Master. It looked at the little girl sitting in Jai-T's lap and couldn't help but ask, what is that? He turned to the double and answered, that's Yu Jai-Ul. I just took the child to get a haircut. It immediately understood. So the girl has transformed into human form. Passersby laughed and chatted loudly. Oh, what a good baby. She's lying quietly in her father's arms. The couple looks so harmonious. Hearing that, the double looked at Yu Jai-T and asked, if it's inconvenient for you, shall I hold her for you, my lord? The little girl's eyebrows slightly furrowed at that. She saw the scene and startled, stepping back. He set Jai-Ul down on the ground, and the girl sighed, it's okay. After all, she figured it out herself. The double said no more and steered the topic elsewhere. But why did you bring Jai-Ul out yourself? Bomb, Yo Riem, and Gai Yul are at home. He immediately explained to it. Yu Bomb is exhausted from the effects of the transfer spell. As for the other two, Gold cheerfully leapt over, arms outstretched, appearing. Jai-Ul want to go shopping with me. Red showed visible displeasure. Don't even think about handing her over to me. Yu Jai-T, though angry, kept his composure. They're still young. The double bowed its head and spoke softly, I understand. Jai-T hesitated, then asked, so what do you want to say? It asked back, puzzled, do you mean? Suddenly a shaft of light radiated around you. Don't play dumb. I know you can transmit every emotion and memory to me. The double became a bit flustered hearing its master speak, and turned its face away to answer. It's not dissatisfaction. It's just that your servant is doubting my purpose. Among those who have used your servant, none have yearned for a mundane life like yours. They always wanted to use your servant for loftier aims. For example, ordering your servant to kill those who must be killed, or helping them flaunt power when needed. But this lifetime's master only wishes to enjoy everyday life, something a lowly servant finds hard to comprehend. If my words are disrespectful, please pardon me. Jai-T listened silently, then said, you are also a thinking being, so such thoughts are understandable. As he was speaking, he suddenly rose from the chair. There will be times you must act. For now, continue going to the police station regularly. Your colleagues will miss you greatly. Go drinking with them for fun. At the last sentence, it fell into a reverie, remembering its colleagues since it would soon part from them. The double acknowledged the order, quickly stood and left. Yes, my lord. Yu Jai-T stood still, watching its retreating back grow more distant. Suddenly a voice made him turn his head. "Sweetie, do you like that one a lot?" A mother and child pair walked past in front of Ujit. "If I'd known you liked it so much, I would have bought it sooner," the little girl said with a radiant smile. "Hee hee, Mom is the best." The girl walked while holding the stuffed bear high in her hands. From where he stood looking down, he saw Jayo-ul staring at it with bright eyes. Ujit called out, making the girl turn back to look. "Do you want a doll?" He reached into the shallowest part of the abyss and pulled out a bear. Ujit brought it before Jayo-ul and said, "Here you go, though it's a little different." He placed the bear into the girl's hands. A pink atmosphere of affection emanated around the bear. Jayo-ul's cheeks flushed pink as she looked at it with delight. Seeing that, Ujit asked further, "Do you like it?" The girl suddenly set the stuffed bear down on the ground. Then she walked slowly, step by step, over to him. Ujit thought Jayo-ul shouldn't be picked up and asked to clarify, asking for more. "I'm out." Jayo-ul's previously smiling face instantly turned sad. The little girl placed her tiny hands on his cheeks. A gust of wind rustled. Jayo-ul pressed her forehead against Ujit's, causing him to momentarily freeze. He wondered inwardly why she suddenly behaved like this, or perhaps images from the past flashed through Ujit's mind. His eyes glanced down at the girl, thinking, could she be misinterpreting the transfer of magic as a way to show affection? A sudden thought passed by, a girl being hung on a cross. Ujit's eyes widened, as if witnessing something horrifying, and also moments of having to fight monsters. Though exhausted, he still kept his eyes wide open. A horde of monsters descended from the sky toward Ujit like predator. His face was slightly scratched, eyes hollow as he stared ahead. Ujit gently closed his eyes. The gears of fate began to turn. Back in the present, he was holding Jayo-ul in his arms, and the two looked at each other. The girl let go and looked at Ujit with some surprise. He unconsciously gave Jayo-ul a gentle smile. Jayo-ul held the stuffed bear in one hand and gripped Ujit's hand with the other. The two walked hand in hand down the narrow path, the girl humming happily. He stopped and looked up toward the sky. The sky had turned the rosy golden hues of evening. Jit suddenly asked, making the girl puzzled, "You arrived so early." From a distance, a girl with golden hair came running. "Oh, my lord." He didn't greet her but asked, "Where have you been?" Gold, who was rubbing her cheek against Jayo-ul, replied, "I just popped into the shopping district for a bit. Jayo-ul in human form is so adorable." The two of them hugged, faint pink streaks appearing on their faces. The kid smiled gently and pressed her forehead to Jayo-ul's. The girl seemed happy to receive a gift from my lord. Jit held the bear in his arms watching them. "Can you read Jayo-ul's thoughts?" Gold replied cheerfully and explained, "When we dragons make physical contact, we don't just transfer mana, we also understand each other's emotions and thoughts. Direct contact is the most effective. Simply put, it's a form of physical contact used to express affection." He recalled earlier and reached up to touch his forehead. "Well, I didn't know that." The kid laughed out loud while holding the girl. "Hee hee, so there are things you don't know after all." Jit looked at the item Gold was wearing on her back and asked, "What's that on your back?" The kid glanced over, pondering. Gold smiled, hesitating. "Ah, this is." She pulled a guitar out from inside herself and strummed a few strings to tune it. Gold introduced excitedly, "It's something I bought to convey my soul to others without touching skin. What do you think? Looks like a singer, right?" The kid eagerly kept playing, making Jayo-ul watch with bright eyes. "I'll do my best." And yet Jit still watched with an utterly impassive expression. The image of the guitar and several syringes appeared. He stood watching Gold sitting amid the wreck. Jit trembled so much he was speechless. The kid's face lost its joy and took on something indescribable. Back in the present, he swallowed lightly. Gold blew on her reddened palms from unfamiliarity with playing. Jit spoke, causing the kid to pause. "Don't overdo it, that's enough." Gold, thinking he was reprimanding her, hurriedly waved and ran after, asking why. Jit, seeing her like that, clarified, "I mean, just take it slow." Gold was about to say more, but he cut in, "But I want you to try. Has bomb woken up?" The kid sighed and answered, still sleeping. "Her fever hasn't gone down." Jit led Jayo-ul by the hand and glancing back said, "Well then, it's from days of continuous magical battle." As for you, Yoriam, when Jit asked further, Gold put a hand to her mouth to think and said, "As for Yoriam, she's been immersed in dramas all day, not stepping out of her room. It's the first time I've seen Yoriam engrossed in something other than fighting." Jit heard that and felt reassured. It's better than causing trouble out on the streets. The three of them went home. The kid took the little girl's hand and led her inside. "Jayo-ul, remember to wash your hands after going out." His eyes suddenly dropped, full of vigilance. Gold cheerfully wondered to herself, Has Bomb woken up yet? Suddenly, Jai T's hand landed on the kid's shoulder. The atmosphere around him darkened. You Jayo-ul, go to your room with Jayo-ul immediately. Do not come out until I call you. The kid, slightly puzzled and about to ask, was cut off by him. Why all of a sudden quit? Seeing Jai T's expression made her a little frightened. Ah, yes. The kid picked the girl up and ran straight to the room. Jayo-ul, let's read a fairy tale together, okay? He watched the two of them run back to the room. Once he confirmed they were safe, Jai T turned his face toward the door. He walked over and placed his hand on the doorknob. A creaking sound rang out. Jai T stepped into the room. His face darkened slightly as he looked at what was inside. The room was without a single light. Only Jai T and 4 strangers stood inside his house. One of them suddenly spoke up. Who dared to turn the green dragon into this? His eyes flashed, his tone threatening. Was it you? Guardian bodyguards. Dragons use domination magic to chain monsters or humans useful to them. They turn those beings into guards of their lair, called dragon knights. The elite guards act as escorts for young dragons on outings, like these. Green was still lying in bed, sleeping soundly and unaware. Jai T looked at her and thought to himself, did he cast a sleep spell on you, Bomb? The guard suddenly stomped his foot hard on the floor. He shouted angrily in his face, answer me, did you do this to Green? Jai T didn't answer but countered, when you enter someone else's home, shouldn't you introduce yourself first? He raised an arm wreathed in black energy. Seems you don't understand the situation. Guardian quickly launched an attack at him. Questioning is the privilege of the powerful. Only I have the right to interrogate here, you lowly human. Jai T looked up. It was a high-grade defensive barrier spell. He withdrew his power and continued. This is your final warning. Guardian clenched the air in his hand. What did you do to Green? Confess, human. He answered bluntly without fear. Blue has awakened. Hearing Jai T's answer made him pause. Green ended up like that because of an attempt to teach polymorph via transfer magic. Guardian's hostility toward him had lessened. So who are you? Jai T put his hands in his pockets and replied, I'm the kid's guardian. He sneered contemptuously. Guardian, what a ridiculous introduction. Do you even know what you're protecting? Jai T quickly answered and added a question. Of course I do, which is why I have doubts. That single question stunned the group. How did you arrive so early? You ought to be drifting in that X-space rift right now. They spoke in disbelief. How did you know? The Guardians suddenly drew their weapons. This human already knows too much. We are the children's guards and keepers of historical causality. I acknowledge you've cared for them in our stead, but you seem unrelated to what is good. Letting you live will bring disaster. Jai T sighed, so this can't be solved by dialogue. The sound of wind whooshed by. Don't worry, the lot of them charging you with weapons won't be a headache. The guard bearing the sword lunged powerfully. He decisively swung at Jai T. A terrible power surged from the blade, but Jai T quickly parried it with an ordinary sword. He muttered in astonishment, could my magic sword be destroyed so easily? Jai T calmly blocked the blow with a face void of expression. Then he decisively flung that man and his sword away. The shield-bearing guardian nearby saw this and shouted loudly, pathetic, collapsing from such a mundane strike. Let this one be handled by us. You fall back and observe. Then all the others beside him surged forward. The guardian, having just been defeated, shouted to his comrades, wait, hold on. This one is stronger than expected. Next, he witnessed the scene of his comrades being felled one after another by Jai T's powerful sword strike. When he stopped, those guardians lay prostrate on the ground. Jai T approached a guardian who was conscious and sitting on the ground. He thought in confusion, I've suspected from the start, an ordinary human caring for baby dragons, and even aware of our existence. I should have realized sooner. He is a transcendent being who must not be touched. As Jai T stepped closer, the 4 of them exchanged glances. Then he let out a sigh. The sword in his hand vanished. Jai T said, I already proposed negotiation earlier. The guardian suddenly asked, is this world under your rule? Jai T calmly replied, answer my question first. How did you survive when space was warped? The Guardian looked at him and then explained seriously. Due to a spatial twist. Then he recalled, before, a group of Guardians along with a great dragon. Our master opened a gate to connect the lair and this world. But for some reason, the spatial dimension was distorted and tossed us out into the cosmos. Back to reality. Jai T asked for a clearer explanation about the spatial twist. Gold answered, I don't know much, but our master once mentioned something called the horizon of fate. Spatial twisting occurs because of energy from that place, as if all dimensions were being sucked around it. Jai T heard this and thought skeptically, strange, I've never heard of a horizon of fate before. So how does it relate to their appearing here? Did the horizon assist their arrival? This is unlike previous times. This is the first time Green's guards have come looking for me. Then he coldly glanced at the guardian, who was slowly crawling up, and bleakly said, I must know how you came here. How did the horizon bring you? That guardian continued to explain. More precisely, a will crossed that boundary and aided us. Jai-T was puzzled. A will. He said it felt like an invisible force guiding the way. It led me to gather the guardians and find the place where the baby dragons were hiding. Hearing that, Jai-T said, let me check a bit. Next, he gently placed his hand on that guardian's head. He leaned down slightly and said, look me straight in the eye. The balance eye skill is one of the 3 powers I seized from the Demon King. An eye that discerns good and evil, true and false, love and hate, revealing the truth of things. After a moment, he closed his eyes and said, so you were telling the truth. Jai-T thought to himself, I have dealt with every threat to this world already. Jai-T glared in anger. He'd checked the space countless times. Why does a rift still appear? That guardian spoke of a will beyond the horizon. It carried rage like a curse. Perhaps because I bear the core of Noon, created from Green's power. I can sense it. Hearing that, Jai-T slowly reached out, then decisively pierced through the guardian's armor. Afterwards, he pulled something out. The guardian cried out in pain. Next, Jai-T ripped the armor away forcefully. A breach in the armor appeared, and something inside was glowing. He was astonished. Suddenly, many glowing chains crawled out from within. The Zhang's time acceleration power detected a destroyed timeline. The Zhang's time acceleration power identified hostile elements. This power fiercely purges anything outside the main temporal axis. Then the many chains formed into an hourglass. It will hunt all entities with separate timelines. This power, normally dormant, has now activated, and the clock fell into Jai-T's hands. He wondered in confusion, but for now I cannot intervene, only wait. The guardians murmured, seeing the strange light turn into a clock. Well, that's acceptable for now. Jai-T turned back and said, what are you going to do now? The hatchlings are under my protection. You staying here is pointless. The domination magic was also disrupted by the spatial twist. What reason do you have left to stay? A guardian asked, are you releasing us? Jai-T replied, as long as you don't cause trouble. They then rose one by one and said, very well, I will withdraw. We will do the same. Jai-T calmly half closed his eyes and said, fine, go. But the guardian, whose armor he had torn, muttered with difficulty, I cannot go. Jai-T asked, you won't go? He answered firmly, yes, because I am the keeper of causality. Before he could finish, Jai-T punched him hard and knocked him down. Jai-T slowly stepped forward and said, I'll ask once more. Will you still refuse to leave? That guardian replied resolutely, I cannot. He placed his foot firmly on the guardian's chest, releasing a force that made the whole room tremble, coldly asking one last time, still not. The guardian looked at him weakly and answered, I cannot. The guardians behind him said, it's useless to keep arguing. He's just stubborn, standing before freedom but not daring to take it. What a fool. Jai-T glanced over and pondered for a moment, then turned his face away and said, go on, fine. At least then you deserve to be a guardian. A sword slowly materialized in his hand. The guardian was surprised. After a while, the room descended into chaos. The guardians who craved freedom now lay dead. The stubborn ones who refused to leave struggled to stand and asked, why are you keeping only me? Are you testing us? Jai-T replied calmly, not exact. Rather, I find you quite interesting. Why do you insist on protecting Green so fiercely? He answered immediately, it's because my loyalty to the Green family is unwavering. You say loyalty is good, but Green already has me to protect. If you're weaker than me, you have no right to be their guardian. However, there's a role that suits you well. Hearing that, he curiously looked up. Elsewhere, Gold was holding Jai-Ul, while Red stood by when Jai-T said, say hello to each other. He and the guardian wearing an apron appeared. Jai-T said, this is my new housekeeper. His face showed some reluctance. Helplessly, he thought, housekeeper. In the cozy kitchen, the smart robot's dishwashing rustled through the air. It washed each bowl and plate thoroughly, creating suds to clean them. The smart robot spoke in its own human-like way. It shot back, what a housekeeper. Are you kidding? Jai-T snapped, don't like it. The stubborn robot retorted, what does guarding dragons have to do with cleaning? I'm not clever enough to understand this. He slammed his hand on the table. As I said yesterday, I can protect the dragons on my own. Letting you stay is mercy. If you don't do your housekeeping duties well, I'll erase you, so show some effort. The robot sullenly returned to the kitchen and sighed. How did I end up in this situation? At that moment, Green stepped forward in a sweet voice. You're a guardian from Escalapa, right? It was surprised. Miss Ubom, are you well? She smiled. Yes, just a bit tired. I heard you're staying on as a housekeeper. The robot changed tone sadly. I suppose so. Suddenly Green praised, the apron suits you. From now on please take care of things, housekeeper. Oh my, being complimented by a girl made his cheeks flush. He felt embarrassed. At that moment the robot's hand holding a bowl trembled slightly. Cleaning or washing dishes. Leave it all to me, milady. I won't let anyone dirty their hands, sir. Who would have thought a moment later there was the sound of breaking dishes. She said, ah, that's very expensive. Jae-ul in a little green bear outfit looked absolutely adorable. Next came a school uniform that gave an innocent childhood vibe, or a pretty, ethereal ball gown the girl wore. Gold watched the system screen with sparkling eyes, delighted. So cute. When did you buy these? They're so beautiful. Green replied, I ordered them right after she was born. Jae-ul, do you like? Seeing her delighted expression, Gold teased, of course she likes them. He grinned broadly. Which outfit looks best? Asked the housekeeper. The robot answered, to me Jae-ul is cute in every outfit. The little girl laughed heartily. Good answer, she beamed, thank you. Meanwhile, no one noticed Jai-T's face grow stern, as if about to turn black with thought. Who would have guessed his attention was fixed on the little girl smiling happily. This one sure knows how to flatter. Red patches appeared on his alabaster hands, drawing attention. Jai-T shouted angrily, are you still playing the guitar? Gold hurriedly replied, oh no, only occasionally plucking a bit. Green also wondered. Gold plays guitar because he likes it. Any problem, sir? He said in a low voice. I didn't say anything. That reminded him. Yu-Yo-Riam has been missing all day, still buried in games. She stammered, probably. The housekeeper spoke up. Actually, I tried to clean her room earlier, but was sent away. But her complexion was so pale, I was really worried. Her skin looked washed out, milady. Red snapped, leave me alone, get out short. Hearing the robot, Green said, it's probably just from staying up late watching movies. Jai-T's narrow eyes glanced at her, as if wanting to say something. Then he moved to Red's door with a stern expression. Those eyes looked inside, growing angrier, as if shocked by what they saw. Beer bottles were strewn across the floor, ashtrays piled into a grotesque heap. At that moment, Red had a cigarette clamped in her mouth. She chewed a bite of meat and said, what is it? Suddenly Jai-T cut in, I'm just checking if you're still alive. At that time, patriotic music played from the TV. He looked up at the screen in disbelief. Do you watch this all the time? Red was surprised. Have you ever watched it, you Jai-T? Frankly, no. She enthusiastically explained, there are 7 episodes, but the content is terrible and the setting is trash. Yu Jai-T said solemnly, then don't watch it. Red frowned, right, you're a genius, huh? Suddenly he turned his back and walked away, then reminded, go outside. I have something to discuss. Afterwards Yu Jai-T gently held Jae-ul and instructed, then from now on, we'll do a full cleaning. Red complained upon hearing this, a full clean. Gold wondered why all of a sudden. He explained, even if you're not ordinary people, living among humans requires cleanliness, especially Yo-Riam and Ga-Yul. Your rooms are disgustingly filthy. Being singled out made Gold shout, what? How did you get into my room? My mother taught me not to invade others' spaces. Yu Jai-T coldly retorted, did she teach you to live messily? The little girl wailed, that's not the point. He said seriously, leave the living room and kitchen to the housekeeper. Clean your own room. Red stood up and picked her nose. Ridiculous. There's a housekeeper. Why should I clean? Gold sneered, you so dirty. She quickly smeared Gold's face with her hand. Here, this is for you. Then the whole house heard Gold's loud screams. After Red left the room, Gold held her face and wailed, sis, I hate dirt. Red added a taunt. You say you hate dirt, but keep your room like a pigsty. Hey shorty, I'm off to training. Clean my room, I'll check later. The robot replied promptly, yes ma'am. Green also stood up, I've been cleaning since yesterday. Let's go grocery shopping tonight. Our household is busier now, so we'll cook a big meal. Hearing her report, Yu Jai-T nodded repeatedly, But in his memory, the image returned, and his face turned deathly pale. When they saw the dishes Green had cooked, Green smiled warmly, do you want anything to eat? Is there something you're craving? He hurriedly said no, go on. At the same time, bottle caps and marbles rolled around the housekeeper's feet. Even it was left speechless at the state of the room. Then the robot spoke. Although I don't have a nose, I can still smell the stench. This is hell, no, worse than hell. No wonder Yo-Riam is so pale. What's with that basin? Is she training to resist poison? After surveying the area, it decided, okay, first pick up the big trash. Yu Jai-T stepped forward and said, no, those are cans. Cans in plastic must be sorted separately. Are you a housekeeper who doesn't know that basic rule? Does Escalapa have no concept of recycling? What a lawless land, it frowned in thought. Others might not notice, but I can tell. This is demonic energy, perhaps a fragment of. He teased, staring blankly like that. Are you planning to stay up all night? The robot obediently nodded repeatedly. Yes, sir. looking just like the original form. At that moment, the real Ujit stepped up. "What are you two doing instead of cleaning?" The demonic Ujit replied, "You're here, sir. I'm instructing the housekeeper to work." It trembled and dared not speak. "I've heard your account," he said in a low voice. "Don't just stand there pointing. Help him. I called that person because he might not manage Yoriam's room." The demonic Ujit look stunned me. In the gym area, Red in workout gear was energetically lifting weights. Green was diligently picking out fruits to cook with. Over here, Gold was trying to stuff clothes into the wardrobe. Everyone was busy hustling to clean the house. The sky had shifted to a glowing orange gold, bathing Ujit's mansion in shimmering light. The demonic Ujit came to report. "It's all done, sir." He answered, "Very good. This is where you need to be." Something on the screen made the demonic Ujit gasp. "This is." The computer monitor displayed a satellite view of the northern hemisphere. The demonic Ujit said, "Moscow, Russia." He explained, "An invisible demon organization is researching a super demon of the comet type here. After we finish this week's police matters, fly to Russia." Ujit emphasized, "Find prototype X at all costs for me." The demonic Ujit crisply replied, "Yes, sir, I'll prepare immediately." At that moment, Green approached with a bright face and sparkling smile. "I'm back." The robot smiled kindly. "Hello, milady. Gold wine, sis, you bought so much." Green carried 2 full bags and replied, "The house has many mouths to feed, so we must cook a lot." The Ujit persona stepped forward. "Ubom is back, may I come in?" Ujit interrupted, "Wait." He ordered sharply, "You must swap clothes with me right now." At that moment, the dining table held some slightly unusual dishes. Green said, "Enjoy your meal, kids." Gold stared into her bowl of soup. "This flavor is so like escalopa." Red added, "It's passable." The little girl asked innocently, "It would be so fun if the housekeeper ate with us." Red shouted, "How can you eat with no mouth, you idiot?" At that moment, the Ujit persona, disguised as the real Dai, was sweating as he looked at the food. Could the master really have told me to sit here because of this? Meanwhile, in a dense, foggy space, an abandoned industrial zone near Lair, a man shouted curses with blood continuously streaming from his mouth, looking truly grotesque. He stared into Ujit's eyes and ranted wildly. "You think you can pull this stunt and walk away unharmed, you lowly human who dares? Do you know who backs me?" Before he could finish, you sliced him across the belly. The man collapsed to the floor with a thud, and Ujit said, "Yes, I know exactly." He grabbed the man's hair and lifted his head, reminding him, "Professor Y Yuan of the Qinglong Academy, right? No, better to call him the fiend Y Yuan of the Invisible Organization. Isn't that correct? What is Y Yuan plotting? What are you planning to do?" Ujit used his heavenly dragon eye ability and threatened, "Don't try to lie to me, tell the truth." The man's face was distorted and smeared with dark red blood. Trembling, "I don't know the detail. But he said that in 3 months, if the plan succeeds, he will be chosen." Jit said in a low voice, "Chosen? Do you mean a seat, right?" The man hurriedly answered, "Yes. The seats are only for 4 elite fiends, selected by the Invisible Organization. Normally, fiends operate in small groups, but those who attain a seat will have their own military force and reach the highest rank in the fiend hierarchy, power at a catastrophic level." Ujit pondered. Strange, in previous loops Y Yuan never attained a seat, and at this point he wasn't capable of devising such a plan. Then he noticed something unusual. The temporal acceleration power of Zhang X detected malice beyond the horizon. The Zhang X temporal acceleration power, because the heart of that existence lies outside the world's timeline, targeted fiend Y Yuan. There was interference from an entity dissatisfied with the regression loop and existing outside the world's timeline. Fiend Y Yuan had escaped the cyclical regression, carrying the best elements from the previous loop. After the guards, now Y Yuan as well. Are all things related to me being interfered with? While Ujit was deep in thought, he heard the man call out, "Hey, I only know up to this point, but if you spare me, I can dig up more information. My mother is sick and waiting at home. I won't betray you, please spare me." Unexpectedly, Ujit showed no mercy and sliced off the man's head, which fell to the ground. Jit used his heavenly dragon eye to generate killing intent. "I told you, lying is useless on me. Even if it's true, you still have to die." Immediately after, the abandoned house exuded a thick stench of blood, annihilation, incineration. The season shifted. A new day began with freshness and birdsong. He walked among the crowd, pondering. If Y Yuan has a grand plan to attain a seat, it very likely involves Lair. Ujit recalled the moment Y Yuan asked Red, "Could you represent us and lead the year-end event?" The year-end event might be connected to that man's scheme. Suddenly, a voice rang out, "Oh, what an adorable baby." In the park square, everyone was eagerly gazing at Green and Jayo Ul. Everyone praised Jayo-ul. Never have I seen such a cute child. What's her name? Green replied, it's Jayo-ul. Passersby kept complimenting the girl. Her eye and hair color are beautiful. How old is she? Suddenly Green noticed Yu Jai-T's arrival, and her eyes widened in surprise. Yu Jai-T spoke, what are you people doing with this child? The sharpness of his gaze made everyone shake their heads in fear. Oh, it's nothing. Green murmured, we haven't seen you all day. Where have you been? He answered, just some errands. And you, why are you with Jayo-ul? She tilted her head and said, I've been sick lately, so I haven't had time to play with her. Class starts tomorrow. I'm afraid we won't have chances to play together later. He replied, I see. Green's eyes lit up, and she smiled warmly as she looked into Yu Jai-T's eye. That was the divine profile with his straight, attractive nose. Suddenly she said, don't we look just like a family like this? Jayo-ul is your daughter, and I'm her mother. If we follow that script, then we would be. At that moment, little Jayo-ul was looking at them with innocent, clear eyes. Green hinted to him, and so, you and I would be. Yu Jai-T remained silent, saying nothing, as if deep in thought. Green smiled shyly. Who knows what she was thinking then? Seeing Yu Jai-T so serious, she backtracked. Just kidding, just kidding. Why are you so serious? He said sternly, if you keep joking around, you'll go home. Then Yu Jai-T picked the girl up and walked ahead, asking with concern, did you have fun? Green stood at a distance, watching that figure walk away, her face full of thought. The sky had turned a romantic orange gold. Beneath the cherry blossoms were students dressed neatly in uniform. The girls hurried across the road to make it to class on time. Petals fell across the academy courtyard, creating a picturesque scene. At the same time, Gold was gobbling a piece of bread while running in a hurry. Her cheeks flushed and her mouth beamed with a bright smile. Finally going to school. What grade are you in? I wish I could be in class with you, Green smiled. I'm studying superhuman studies, literature, magic, and sociology. Hey Guy-Yul, I've been wondering, why are you holding that sandwich in your mouth the whole time? You already ate at home this morning. Suddenly the girl blushed and smiled shyly, don't you know? My mother said if I hold a sandwich on the way to school and bump into someone. Gold revealed the secret. That person would be my destiny. As she said this, her eyes shone like stars, full of hopeful light. Who would have thought Red would be the one she bumped into? How romantic, ouch. Red jeered, I wish I had a destined person like that. Oh my, didn't expect to bump into the cutie. So you're the cutie's destined person, huh? The girl panicked, you're a girl though. Red quickly grabbed the sandwich and shoved it into his mouth. So what? I watch Western movies and see girls nibbling on each other all the time. The little girl shouted, that's my sandwich. The kid reminded them, by the way, where did that man disappear to this morning? Isn't he supposed to be observing our class? Green replied, I think he said he'd go to the office first to verify something. Red laughed loudly, he wasn't home yesterday either, probably off meeting some girl. Green froze, no way, he's not that kind of person. Gold asked, what's wrong with you? Why are you suddenly sweating? Suddenly the girl seemed to notice something strange. Gold curiously asked, who are those people? They don't look like students. Who else would be here? Maybe reporter. Red said they're probably here to photograph standout students among the freshmen. Green hurried off. You guys go ahead, I'll go in first. At that moment, a young man turned his head and noticed something. The crowd around grew curious. Could that girl be Yo Riem, the one who defeated Sophia and made that earth-shaking remark? That's right, it's the red-haired girl. Red muttered in disbelief and swore. Immediately lights shone directly on the kid, and reporters bombarded her with questions. Are you Yo Riem? Please let us interview you for a moment. Look over. Please answer the interview. Gold timidly hid behind Red. W. What is this? What's wrong with you people? Red's mouth widened and she shouted, everyone. The girl angrily screamed so loudly, it pierced the schoolyard. Red snapped, hey reporters, I already answered before, still not enough. Fine, I'll take you one by one. The kid showed no restraint and raised a polite finger. Come on in here, you lot. Little Jayo-ul dreamily woke up. Waking to find the house empty, the girl stared fixedly at the door. Guardian, seeing this, grew worried. He was flustered. This is awkward. Before leaving, Yu Jai-T had instructed that the kids had gone to school and he wouldn't be home. Today it's just you and Jayo-ul at home, so be careful and watch the child. Guardian scratched his metal head, unexpectedly getting a task harder than cleaning. I've never babysat before. He called out, hey little Jayo-ul. The girl turned back and looked at him with bright, shining eyes. Guardian stepped forward and spoke like a professional butler. The other girls and the housemaster will return tonight, so don't wait around. Why not find a comfortable place to sit and rest, miss? Jayo-ul heard him but didn't respond. The two of them just looked at each other for a while. Finally, the girl coldly turned away, leaving him standing rooted to the spot. Guardian panicked. It's so suffocating. Unable to persuade Jayo-ul, He dejectedly went elsewhere to start routine chores. Well then, time to clean. Suddenly he looked toward the center of the living room. His eyes brightened as he found a solution to break the impasse. Once more Guardian stepped up beside Jayo-ul. Miss Jayo-ul, he said. In his hand was a book. Guardian asked, would you like to read a fairy tale with me? Fortunately Jayo-ul agreed, and the two of them went to the room to read. The girl's bright eyes sparkled as she looked into the pictured world. Seeing such a positive reaction, Guardian was secretly pleased. It seems the girl is interested in fairy tales. I'll read one for you, miss. The story begins. Its title is My Father is a Fairy Man. Guardian began, once upon a time, in a distant forest. Suddenly the bright tale was warped. If it's an ancient forest, it must be from before the demon realm, some primeval woodland. The story continued. There lived a little girl named Dulsoon with her father. Guardian added an unnecessary comment. It seems the girl's mother had passed away, but Dulsoon is lucky. Back then, a single survivor was already a miracle. Before bed, her father would tell her old stories every night. The tale couldn't retain its original innocence. Interesting. If it's an old story, then it's probably about a great war, right? Jayo-ul, wearing a disgusted expression, watched Guardian continue to prattle. So Dulsoon must be a war addict, huh? Guardian eagerly continued. Then one morning, when she woke up, Dulsoon found her father was not at home. Perhaps he had gone to find a new mother for her. I've heard in those days it was common to take war captives as wives. If Dulsoon got a new mother, she would surely be very happy. Guardian concluded, anyway Dulsoon. Suddenly he realized something was wrong. Jayo-ul looked at him with contempt. Guardian was bewildered. What's wrong, miss? Do you not like the story's content? Jayo-ul didn't answer. She just pointed off into the distance. The direction she pointed to was a corner of the wall. Jayo-ul then pointed at Guardian, the action repeating. She chased him to that corner to sit curled up, forbidding him from touching the book. Cut to a scene at the city center at the same time. A luxury car was speeding down the road. From the car, a graceful pair of legs stepped out. All the male students at school turned their heads to look at the newcomer. The girl who stepped out primly touched up her powder. Her name was Gong Joo-hee, heir to the Gong family, one of Korea's 3 great sword clans, though now she cared more about beauty than swordsmanship. Joo-hee grumbled, sword practice made me sweat and feel gross. My makeup's ruined. Joo-hee saw a group of reporters ahead. What is this? Those reporters. Could they be waiting for me? She acted annoyed. Secretary Kim, you know I don't like attention. Handle this for me. Secretary Kim behind her reminded her. It seems they're not here to photograph you, miss. Hearing that, Joo-hee was surprised. She irkily pushed into the crowd of reporters. Then who are they photographing if not me? Suddenly Joo-hee fell silent. She was astonished. Joo-hee exclaimed, holy. Those the reporters are crowding around are Red and Gold. Meanwhile Red was boldly sitting on top of a male student. Gold shyly asked, sister, why is that person your seat? Red brazenly replied, I don't know, they volunteered. She inquired, are you okay? Don't cry later, okay? The male student cheerfully answered, of course, I'm your fan. Red wondered, fan, what nonsense is that? A reporter stepped forward, so student Yuyo Riem, can we begin the interview? Red answered arrogantly, if you don't follow the order, forget the interview. I'll go straight through, 1 question each and then scram. She signaled, then start with the man wearing the hat. Ah, hello student Yo Riem, I'm from the television station. Red cut in, too much long-winded introduction. Next, the reporter shouted, I haven't even finished. Another reporter asked immediately, I'm from CT France. Recently you've become the focus in the superhuman scene. Many people are looking for you. What do you think about that? She replied bluntly, like shit. Next. Another reporter approached. Did you know your cafe booth was just set up? Say a few words to your fans. The man kneeling excitedly. Rewards have arrived, hee. She paid him no mind, so it was this guy, you're claiming to be my fan? Crazy. Next. A different reporter introduced himself. I'm Park Gang-ho from the Gasan Daily. From his fat body came a strange foul odor. He kept wiping sweat. What did you mean by the line at the Chungryong Academy interview? Red pinched her nose and answered, we know, why ask? Does your head only have that stuff? She whispered, ah, what's that smell? He persisted, don't be like that. Explain clearly, of all the words, why did the girl choose that one? Red frowned irritably. The reporter looked at her with a perverted expression, as if implying something else. Red didn't let it pass and cut in, reporter. Red challenged, do you want to do that with me? Gang-ho was stunned. He stammered, hey, don't be like that. Red's face darkened. You know, I was just joking. If you know it's a joke, why twist it? Seeing her anger, but the reporter still wouldn't stop. Maybe student Yo Riem is young and doesn't understand yet, but being a reporter is that kind of job. So if you cooperate, I'll write a decent article for you. Red angrily lunged forward and grabbed the reporter by the collar. Oh my, do you think I'll tolerate you forever? Gold behind panicked. Hey sis, ignore them, let's go inside. Gang Ho's camera kept capturing every moment of Red. He was secretly pleased. Yeah, if she acts aggressive like this, views will spike. But he still felt a bit regretful. Maybe I should rile her up a little more. Thinking it, he provoked further. If you keep this up, I'll have to write the story my way. For example, Yo Riem at the center of controversy, demanding relations with a reporter. Red clenched her fist. Go ahead and write that. She lunged angrily at the reporter, but first, you're going to die by my hand. Gold chased after to stop her. Yo Riem. Suddenly, her punch was stopped. Jai T had appeared in time to handle everything before Red could take things too far. Gold breathed a sigh of relief. Ah, you arrived just in time. Jai T looked at Red. Did you come here and start trouble? Red yelled, no, it's that pig. He's the one. Seeing Red seemed unable to calm down, Jai T decisively picked her up and carried her away. Red resisted, but it was negligible. What the put me down? Jai T announced to the reporters, the interview is over here. Before leaving, he also threatened them, and you'd better not put this in the papers. A surge of power emanated from Jai T as he strode off in anger, his steps so forceful they crushed a patch of ground. Gang Ho backed away in fear. His interviewing equipment also burned out. Red stared blankly at Jai T's recent action. The three of them walked off together under many people's stares. Jai T warned, you Guy Yule, if you don't want to be late on your first day, go in now. Gold trailed behind, yes. Juhi witnessed the whole scene and froze. Did you see that? Secretary Kim understood and said, or shall we investigate their household? But Juhi didn't care about that. Where is that blonde girl with the big chest? In class, the teacher began to introduce himself. The professor smiled cheerfully. Welcome, students. I am Kaido, your swordsmanship instructor. Today's lesson will cover the history of swordsmanship and the proper attitude when holding a sword. Red watched bored. Attitude when holding a sword. Hurry up and teach fighting already. Jai T appeared surprised, truly surprised. I thought you'd get so bored you'd run off, she sighed. What are you talking about? I've watched trashy movies but still stuck it out. She said seriously, I have to train hard until I can beat that guy with the cone hat. Just wait, one day I'll defeat. She wondered, by the way, why are you in my class? Go with the others. Jai T replied nonchalantly, you know the reason better than I do. Red raised an eyebrow. Oh come on, I didn't cause trouble. I've been very good late. Jai T reminded her. Have you forgotten the reporter incident earlier? Red flinched. She still tried to justify herself. That pig kept getting on my nerves, kept trying to provoke me. If you were in my shoes, you wouldn't stand it either. Red moved closer to Jai T as she spoke. He warned, don't get involved with me, hot-headed. Red teased cheerfully. What's wrong? Men usually go crazy over this kind of contact. Are you shy? In response to Red's teasing, Jai T was silent. Red didn't get the reaction she wanted and grew disappointed. Red slumped over the desk. Oh man, boring. Only then did Jai T speak. Studying is inherently dull. Red protested. It's not the studying, it's the way he talks. She sprawled on the desk. He's a kidnapper, and not even an interesting one. Red recalled, at first I thought he was unusual too, thinking there would be days of dopamine-fueled excitement to come. Red pouted, but I didn't expect him to play this domestic family act. Jai T replied, the things that happen on your way to school are exciting enough, aren't they? Recalling the past, Red was annoyed, not frustrated, but wanting fights, killing, the intoxication of victory. Suddenly the teacher's voice sounded behind her. Oh, it seems our student Yo Riem is getting restless. At times like this, the teacher has a useful method. The teacher proposed, stay after class with your guardian, okay? Red's face contorted at the request. After class in the gym, Red was furiously scrubbing a wooden sword. The more she scrubbed, the angrier she became. Red suddenly sprang up and threw the sword aside. Damn, the more I think about it, the angrier I get. Why do I have to clean this? I want to fight. Opposite her, Jai T was also cleaning. He calmly advised, instead of complaining, just clean. Red annoyed, just call someone from home to do it and be done with. He likes cleaning though. Jai T asked again, then who watches Jai Yool? She sighed and let it go. That blue-haired brat is useless too. Red changed the subject. I have a question. Did you get any proper schooling when you were young? While wiping the sword, Jai T answered, no time for a proper education. She took advantage and teased, what, you're an idiot too. No time to study is usually just an excuse, ha ha ha. He simply replied, it was wartime then. You had to be busy surviving. Red went blank at that, turned away. Damn, that killed the mood. So what caused my situation then? She thought for a moment and decided to ask, is your life enjoyable? Jai T looked up and answered, not really. Red squatted in front of him. Then what's the point of living if it's so boring? If I were as strong as you, I wouldn't live such a dull life. Or maybe you're bored because you're too strong, haha. Jai T pondered, life goes on, I can't abandon it. Red broke the seriousness. Stop acting like a child. Jai T didn't want to argue. Enough chatter, finish cleaning. Cut to evening at Jai T's house. Everyone was enjoying themselves. The scene was warm and family-like. Red fiddled with a Rubik's Cube in her hands, so you turn it like this to line up the faces. While she was fiddling and trying to solve it, the Guardian kept walking back and forth, cleaning behind her. Annoyed, Red hurled the Rubik's Cube at him. You bastard, are you going to keep making me pissed off? I can't concentrate. The Guardian, put in an awkward spot, stammered, sorry. After venting her anger, Red flopped onto the couch. The Guardian sadly moved to clean somewhere else. Green noticed Red's bad mood and asked, why are you so upset today? Is it because the reporters bothered you this morning? Red, fed up with school. Kind of, but mostly I'm bored. Haven't been able to fight late. Red called out, hey bomb. Green was stunned, her face paling. Did you just call me sister? She came over to Red. Yo Riem, are you okay? Do you need to go to the hospital? Red grumbled. Oh come on, do I have to use informal speech for you to be satisfied? She propped herself up. Anyway, that's not important. She wondered, what do you live for? Seeing Red like that for the first time, both Green and Jayo-ul stared wide-eyed. Green whispered into the girl's ear. Jayo-ul, Yo Riem has finally hit puberty. Jayo-ul nodded in agreement. Red blushed and shouted, I heard that, you idiot. And you, blue-haired brat, what are you nodding at? Red recounted, today I asked that human guy what the point of life is. Do you know what he said? Red imitated Jai T's expression. Life just goes on, you can't give it up. Green and Jayo-ul marveled. Oh, you copied him exactly just now. Red continued, but that person didn't seem happy. People live to find joy. If you can't feel joy, what's the point of living? For example, that golden monkey. It's happy just because it gets good food. And that little kid is happy playing with a worn-out stuffed bear. Green also thought deeply. He doesn't tell us much, but he must have something he likes. Suddenly Red answered, I think you're like that person too. Green asked, me like him. Red agreed, yeah, both are equally puzzling. Both are boring as hell, haha. Green fell silent, pretending to think seriously. Really? Red pressed on. So do you find anything enjoyable about living? Green remembered something and her eyes lit up. Yes, there is one thing. Red, curious, what is it? Green's answer stunned Red. You know, he's actually a shy person. Red doubted what, from the look of him, he's totally a cold-blooded psycho. Thinking of Jai T. Green gently replied, I thought so too. The memory of the two sitting together appeared in Green's mind. She recalled Jai T's face at that moment. Green unconsciously smiled shyly, but actually he does have a cute side. Red suddenly lunged forward, her face contemptuous. What's with that disgusting smile? Green was startled by Red's action. Oh my god. Red pinned her to the floor and kept demanding, don't tell me you two did something weird behind my back. Green couldn't help laughing as Red tickled her. Stop tickling, it's too funny. Just then Gold ran down from the upper floor. Sis. The girl was overjoyed. Everyone's talking about you, Yo Riem, on social media. Gold's face lit up with excitement. There are even coffee fans. Red whipped around and asked, what's a coffee fan? A jolt of realization ran through Gold. She seemed to understand something and turned red with embarrassment. It's nothing. Just keep doing whatever you two were doing. Red angrily shouted after her. Hey, you little brat, what are you doing? Another peaceful morning dawned at Jai T's house. In the room, you were putting on your shirt, adjusting your watch. The door suddenly opened. Green slowly stepped in. Sir, madam. She looked up as if to say something. I need to ask a favor. Jai T's shirt was only half buttoned, revealing his firm abs. Green panicked and slammed the door shut. I'm sorry, I should have knocked first. Jai T calmly reassured her. What's the matter? Come in. I'm still getting dressed. Green stepped in again, looking more bashful than before. Green spoke up. Could you accompany me today? Green smiled. Please come with me today. Jai T tightened his tie. Come with you. Why, all of a sudden, she whined. You've only ever gone out with you, Yo Riem and Ga Yul. Never once with me, he replied. Because they. Red gets into fights everywhere. I like violence. And Gold is easygoing. Want to eat fried chicken with me. Wow, fried chicken. Thinking that, Jai T sighed helplessly. Fine. The little girl ate as she spoke. Sis, if you're not going to school, where are you going? Red snapped. Swallow your food before you talk. Green smiled. I'm going on a date with that person. The girl gasped. A date. Red looked away. You mean accompanying the Guardian, right? Gold chewed his bread while taking in the news he'd just heard. Hey, why haven't you ever gone out with Bomb before? Don't tell me you're favoring only me and Yo Riem. Jai T explained, no, it's not like that. The girl smiled, though favoritism is bad, I understand. Your mother is used to many men, yet she loves and pampers two, actually three. Red was astonished. Oh my god, your mom's something else. The girl laughed innocently, right. Green sighed and turned away. So you're like one of the 97 discarded ones. Jai T wondered, what do you mean? Green said sadly, after finally being kidnapped, You still don't care about me. As if I've been reeled in like a fish, you don't even glance my way. Gold looked at him reproachfully. She's been abandoned. Poor Bomb, you're awful. Red also looked at him. I understand why you only go with us, but don't worry, you can go with Bomb. You can't always keep an eye on us, he mused, fine. She winked mischievously, having achieved her goal. Time flew until the Sunshine Building's roof was bathed in light. Inside, 15 students with their parents sat properly. Everyone whispered about Green. Oh, isn't she the sister of the famous Yu-Yo Riem? Isn't her name Yu-Bomb? So pretty, I heard she scored perfect on the entrance interview, really. What family is she from? They say the Yu clan, I'm not sure. The Yu family sounds so rustic. At that moment, Suji clapped. All right, today's theory on communication ends here. Next, we'll practice communicative dancing. A young man spoke. I'm too embarrassed to dance. She wondered, why be embarrassed? When you become the super representative of your clan, there will be times to dance at fancy parties too. Standing there like a wooden post would be the truly embarrassing. Now find a dance partner in pairs. A male-female pair stepped forward. Please help me out, okay. Another pair blushed and held hands. If no one volunteers, then dance with me. She smiled. If you want to pair up with someone, feel free to ask. Ho ho. At that moment, a pink-haired girl snorted, attracted by something. U-Bomb still doesn't have a partner. I thought boys would line up to ask her to pair up. The young man explained, yeah, she's kind of hard to approach, like you'd break your hand if you touched her. Suji worriedly stepped over. Oh, U-Bomb still doesn't have a partner. Green smiled, hiding her true feelings. Yes, I probably don't appeal to people much. She suggested, U-Bomb is so pretty, maybe the professor. At that moment, the girl cut her off. Professor, may I invite my guardian to be my dance partner? Jai-T in the distance was surprised to hear that. Suji nodded. Ah, sure, of course. She quickly ran off. Thank you, she exclaimed so fast. She hurried over to where he was sitting. Green held out her hand. Sir, come on up here. He averted his gaze elsewhere. I don't know how to dance. She pouted. So you're leaving me alone? I'm so lonely. He sighed helplessly upon hearing that. At this time, Suji was instructing to the rhythm. Okay, slowly take your partner's hand. 3, 2, 1, 2, step. Jai-T and Green faced each other awkwardly. Green suddenly noticed something and was quite surprised. His hand kept going up and down. She teased, Sir, are you shy to touch me? He turned his head, not at all. Green took the initiative and clasped Jai-T's hands. Don't worry, touching doesn't mean falling in love, he said coldly. I know. Her voice heavy, and don't half-ass the dance. It will affect my grade, he replied. Got it. Both got into position. She said, let's begin. They danced together smoothly to the music. Green smiled inwardly. Why are his palms sweating so much? Her fair hand gripped Jai-T's soaking wet hand. Are you nervous? Other places were drenched too. The sweat on his chest was so much it was almost transparent. She remembered Jai-T's hot body from before, and Green's face flushed bright red. In that distracted moment, she stumbled and fell backward. But Jai-T quickly caught her before she hit the floor. The scene was romantic. He was stunned and speechless. Green was so embarrassed her face was completely red, her heartbeat increasing. Then her vision whitened and her nose started bleeding. He was startled. A nosebleed. A while later, after class ended, at a shop by the road, Green was drinking lemon juice with a piece of tissue taped to her right nostril. Jai-T asked, do you need to go to the hospital? She answered, Dragon doesn't need the hospital, I'm fine now. Thinking back on it, he felt puzzled, strange. There was no impact, so why a nosebleed? She shyly turned her head away. How should I know? She changed the subject, but you dance better than I expected. Where did you learn? At Green's question, Jai-T fell into thought. A deep memory rose in his soul, his gaze growing colder. Somewhere a girl was teaching him to dance. 1, 2, slow down. Her face broke into a cheerful smile. Not bad. At this rate, you'll be a pro soon, Captain. Jai-T's silhouette was reflected on the ground, creating a melancholy scene. Then he replied, never learned. Green fell silent and said no more. She slowly removed the cotton from her nose. She stood up and asked, are you busy after school? Jai-T answered no. She tied up her hair then. Let's do something fun together. The full moon shone through the white clouds over Moscow, Russia, a research facility of an invisible underground organization. Warning lights flashed, alarms screeched loudly. A figure ran quickly, with the bodies of guards lying behind. She gritted her teeth. Damn it, where did that monstrous fate come from? There weren't enough people here to stop it. I have to get out of here and protect headquarters. At that moment, the guardian appeared behind her. Where are you rushing off to? She stared at him in shock. What do you want? He replied coldly, my master is looking for something, X-type, a top-tier commander demon. Where is he? She shouted angrily, you think I'll tell you? Kill me then. The guardian grabbed her neck with a shadow. After killing many demons, I learned one thing. When death is near, your instincts will surge. But when the pain is too great, You thrash about like a puppet with its strings cut. Do you also want to dance a few steps under the moonlight? Vera lay slumped in a pool of blood. The guardian decoy knocked her out and sent a signal to report to Jai T. Master, an image of a girl with one blazing leg has appeared. The X-type specimen has been transferred back to headquarters in an invisible form as an experimental subject. And this time X-type is female, completely different from previous versions. You listen to the information. Then Jai T asked, the chief researcher you dealt with earlier was Vera, right? He replied, yes, master. You ordered, disguise yourself as him and infiltrate the invisible to find X's true identity. The guardian decoy responded, orders acknowledged. After cutting the signal off, Jai T thought of the many Ma people, the vicious appearance of the supreme commanding Ma person, prototype X, the creature with special abilities, connecting the minds of countless Ma people. The longer it exists, the more consciousness of Ma people it absorbs, and it becomes unpredictably dangerous. He remembered the Ma people who died by his hand, so he always prioritized destroying prototype X each cycle. But this time, the information differed from previous cycles, making the hunt encounter obstacle. Jai T took out his power. It displayed a message. The pleasure-centered temporal strategy S is reading malice from the horizon of destiny, scanning for existences outside the timeline. He watched the ongoing scan notification and thought that X's change of form must be due to the malice the guardian decoy mentioned. Jai T clenched his power. As long as he wiped out those disturbing this world, it would be done. At that moment, Green called, sir, come here for a moment. He walked over and asked what's up. She kept saying, hurry up, hurry up. Jai T looked on in surprise. Green slightly lifted the curtain to show him the lingerie she was trying on and shyly asked, do you see it? Does it suit me? Jai T immediately turned away. What on earth are you doing? Green smiled and replied, summer's coming. Buying one isn't a big deal, hee hee. She even invited him. Oh, it's hard to see from there. Come inside and take a better look. He pretended not to care and said, you're out having fun and now dragging me into this nonsense. Green blushed. What? I thought it was fun. As if realizing something, she asked, what strange thing are you thinking? Adults are really hard to read. Jai T replied, don't try to rile me. Afterwards, the two went for a walk. Green didn't let the earlier matter go, sir. Be honest, you wanted to look earlier, right? He denied it. No, not at all. Green continued teasing. It's impossible you didn't want to look. Green smiled brightly and said, I should probably buy it, Jai T just said, enough fooling around, let's go home. She spoke up, hee hee. Actually, I came to buy gifts for the kids. He repeated, gifts. Green thought of Jayo Ul and the stuffed bear and expressed her wish. Do you know Jayo Ul's teddy's all torn up, so I'm planning to buy it a new one, and while I'm at it, get presents for the others. Jai T asked further, what do the others want? She immediately listed, Gayul only likes clothes, she doesn't care about much else, so she won't feel embarrassed when hanging out with friends or buy her a nice wallet. He asked again, what about Yo Riem? Green thought of what Red wanted to buy and forced a smile. Yo Riem. Yesterday she said she wanted something. She recalled the girl's tone then. Seeing a movie the other day, I saw this, buy it for me. Green judged the item as somewhat odd. Then the two split up. She said, I'll go look for gifts for Ga Yul and Yo Riem. You pick one for Jayo Ul for me. Jai T agreed at once, all right. Green watched him walk ahead. She asked, are you okay? At the Toy and Toys stuffed animal shop, the shopkeeper stood at the counter, lost in thought. She looked at Jai T and guessed, about late 20s to early 30s, that build, model or military. Also quite good look. He was still absorbed in choosing a stuffed animal, alone, eyes dazed at the children's toy. The shopkeeper thought smugly, just the kind of customer to be overcharged, caught a fat fish. She cheerfully asked, oh, are you buying a gift for your child? How old is the child? Jai T answered, about 4 years old. The shopkeeper flattered, oh, that's the cutest age. Is your daughter your child? He replied, not a daughter, but it is a little girl. She came over and patted Jai T's shoulder, praising, ah, so it's your niece. Rare to see uncles pick gifts themselves like this. She must love it. Then she added, but you're a bit lacking in tact. The shopkeeper held a toy medical stethoscope to his chest, then said, at 4 you should buy role-play toys rather than dolls. This lets you play with the child and build family bonds. Internally she thought, what a sturdy build. She enthusiastically offered, ah, if you buy this doctor set, I'll give you 10% off the other. Seeing him lift the toy, the shopkeeper asked, would you like to look it over? Jai T imagined Jayo Ul playing with a syringe. He said, then please. The shopkeeper heard only that and rejoiced, jackpot. In the end, Jai T bought a bunch of gifts. She kept saying, it looks like a lot, but it's really necessary for the child's psychological development. You won't regret it. He handed over his card. The shopkeeper asked, paying by card? Jai T said yes. She was surprised when she saw the card. Thinking about the card's value in his hand, it was a black VIP card reserved for elite families, No wonder he bought whatever was suggested. The shopkeeper admired his looks and silently calculated. This guy is increasingly attractive, probably unmarried. Should I take this chance to flirt? She shyly probed, "Hey, do you have a girlfriend?" Suddenly Green appeared, threw an arm around Jai T, and called sir. She asked, "Are you planning to buy all of this?" The shopkeeper guessed, could she be his girlfriend? Looking at Green's outfit, she guessed, wait, that's a trainee uniform. Then the two continued chatting. "What are you buying for our Jayo-ul?" He replied, "A stuffed bear." She said, "But why pick such random things?" The shopkeeper interrupted, "Oh, so it's for a younger sister." Green glanced at her. She said the child might not be used to these at first, but Green didn't care and continued, "Our Jayo-ul doesn't like these kinds of toys." The shopkeeper laughed awkwardly. "Oh." Green repeated, "She doesn't like them." The shopkeeper reluctantly said, "Ah ha ha, is that so?" She picked up a stuffed animal and evaluated. This one might be okay. Green looked at the bear and continued, "It resembles the old bear, so she won't be startled." Jai T added, "I intended to buy it from the start." She said, "This one has a VIP discount." At home, Gold, Red, and Jayo-ul all widened their eyes in delight. Looking at the gifts, they asked politely, "Are these really for us?" Gold grabbed the new wallet, delighted, "I was about to buy a new one. Love you both so much." The little girl looked at the gifts everyone was interested in. Jayo-ul has a stuffed bear. What did Yoriam get? She replied, "Sister." Red had a handcuff in her mouth and said, "Adult toy." She urged, "Hey little monkey, come here, there's a fun game." Gold hurriedly refused, I don't want to play." The little girl was so scared, she started to cry, screaming. And the girl who was picked up by him expressed her feelings through touch. Suddenly Green spoke up, "I have a gift for you." Jai T opened the box. "This is," she said, "I saw you always wearing the same tie, so I bought this for you." Green added, "When I earn some money, I'll get you a suit too." He looked at the gift and said, "Thanks." Jai T asked, "Why didn't you buy me anything?" Green replied, "Oh, I did buy one thing." He curiously asked what she bought. She blushed. Thinking of the lingerie, she said, "I'll show you later." A few weeks later, Guardian tiptoed in. He asked solemnly, "Did you call me, sir?" Jai T instructed, "I'll be away for 3 days. Take good care of Jayo-ul." Guardian said, "Are you going far, sir?" He glanced at the bed and replied, "Yes," and Red was asleep drooling. Jai T continued, "Yoriam is coming too." The next day, everyone gathered, crowded in the waiting hall. A young man there spoke up, "It's finally starting. The simulated Great Ma-Person War." After he finished, a purple circle gradually expanded. It was announced that the simulated Ma-Person Great War was a survival battle lasting 2 days and 3 nights in a virtual dungeon. Students would move in teams of 3 under the command of a representative guardian. Called tactical commanders, they normally serve as navigators in superhuman teams that hunt monsters. Here, the guardian would play that role. At that time, Jai T was present here. Red beside him propped herself up and judged this year's participants. "Oh my, look at those tense kids. Such mediocre ones have no real combat experience." So Jai T admonished, "Hey Yoriam, this isn't the time to show off." She heard this and sulked, "Yeah." He continued, "This isn't a solo fight. You have to cooperate as a 3-person team. Red side, I know, but you have to choose teammates you like." Suddenly, she noticed the group beside them. A male-female pair approached. The man scratched his head and asked, "If you don't have a team yet, want to team up with us?" Red snapped angrily, "What the hell, you weaklings, go away." But Jai T calmly asked, "What's your name?" The young man answered, "I'm Hisaki Sujiro." The woman also spoke up, "I'm Kim Jae-in." They both bowed politely. Sujiro sincerely promised, "We'll do our best not to trouble you." Red remained irritable, "These guys, didn't you hear me tell you to get lost?" She thought inwardly, "They look weak already." Yet Jai T briefly agreed, "Fine," which made Red furious, "Hey, who allowed them into the team?" So Jai T said, "If you don't like it, then find your own teammates." Yet the girl lowered her voice, "Fine then, how troublesome." Seeing that scene, Sujiro and Kim Jae-in were both stunned into silence. In the end, Red had to watch. "Hey you weaklings, if you block me in a fight, you'd better watch out." Sujiro cheerfully replied, "Thank you." But suddenly a hand shot out and struck hard at his head, making Sujiro clutch his head in pain. It was Johnny who glared and warned, "You pathetic trash. Didn't I tell you to stop hanging around me? You want to die." Sujiro cried from the pain. He hurriedly said, "Hee, sorry." Johnny then turned to tease Kim Jae-in, "Hey, your boyfriend apologized. Aren't you going to say anything?" He put his hand on her head provocatively, "Nothing to say." At that his friends joked, "Hey Johnny, there's a guardian for the other group, tone it down." He sneered, "So what? The adults don't care about orphans." Emboldened, Johnny grabbed Kim Jae-in's hair and taunted, "Hey, you should cut your bangs, they look so gloomy." She tried to pull his hand away but couldn't, only weakly crying, don't do that." Johnny laughed smugly, "Oh orphan," and still daring to talk back. He He didn't notice Red had stepped up beside him. She calmly said, "Orphan, what do you mean?" Hearing that he flinched, he thought to himself, who is this girl? Yo Riem, the madwoman representing the Blue Dragon Academy. Red shoved her hands in her pockets and impatiently said, "I'll ask again. What do you mean by orphan?" Johnny pursed his lips, recalling his family's words. The elders told him to stay away from people like that. So he released Kim Jae-in's hair and turned to explain, "Haha, you don't know what orphan means. It means a student without a guardian. Basically, ragged people without backing." As he said this, he laughed and pointed at Kim Jae-in and Sujiro. Red ruffled her hair. "So that's it. Really, have to team up with this bunch of environmental pollutants." Hearing her, Johnny put an arm around her as if friendly and went along. "Hey, don't tell me you'll team up with them. You're so strong, why team with the weak? Or join our team, if you agree I can give up a spot." His two lackeys were stunned. One challenged Johnny, "What are you saying?" But Johnny didn't care. He was calculating that even if she's crazy, having her on his side would be extremely good for him. Her fighting style looks pretty compatible, just need to flatter her a bit more. Then a punch to the face occurred, and of course Johnny took it squarely. Before the two lackeys gaped in astonishment, and the pair Kim Jae-in and Sujiro. He could only cover his mouth and listen to Red's tirade. "Hey, you rotten fool, you want to die? Who gave you permission to put your hand on my shoulder? Are we that close? How dare you stand equal to me, you insect?" Johnny stood frozen with a contorted face, but inside he screamed that bit. "All right, just wait." Then unexpectedly, he turned his back and walked away despite Red's continued insults. "Next time I see your face, you're done." Kim Jae-in and Sujiro both stared at Red in shock. Jae-T, being used to it, could only sigh tiredly. Then the teacher stepped forward and announced, "Attention all students. This is Combat Professor Kwon-gi-T." He looked lazy and said, "Now I'll explain the rule. You will be divided into 50 teams, starting from separate spawn points. Activity points, defeats, deaths, damage, all are scored and ranked directly. If you die, you must wait 3 hours to respawn at a different point. Remember this. The virtual dungeon is called Ant Nest, and true to its name, the location is a massive cavern." The teacher concluded his presentation with a wish. "Good luck, everyone," dismissed, and one by one they stepped into the virtual matrix. Jae-T's team entered as well. Red laughed, "Huh, not bad, quite impressive." "Great, then let's kick things off with a slaughter." But Kim Jae-in hurriedly stopped her and asked, "Wait, how do you know where the other teams are to fight?" Red blinked, said, "Huh. Run around and you'll run into them." Kim Jae-in explained, "Sorry, but we're not as fast or agile as you. If you rush off alone, we could be ambushed from behind." Red scoffed, "Heavens, are you proud of being weak?" Kim Jae-in suggested, "We should form a strategy before acting." Red sneered, "Strategy? Just let me fight and you lot cover me from behind." Kim Jae-in now scolded seriously, "This is a team match, not a solo. Don't act recklessly." Red glared and snapped, "I took pity on you and let you join the team. Now you're trying to boss me around." Sujiro between them anxiously intervened. "Hey, everyone calm down." Jae-T then spoke up, "Do you have any specific targets?" Kim Jae-in was taken aback by the sudden question. Jae-T kept a cold expression and continued, "How many teams do you want to take down?" Kim Jae-in replied, "It's not that easy. Every team has a tactical commander, so it's hard to catch them off guard." Red couldn't help muttering, "What pessimism, so many teams, my foot." Then the notorious girl flashed a triumphant grin, coolly answered, "See a team, wipe them out." Over there, Johnny was grimacing from the loving gift Red had given him, muttering as he walked, "That brat, my face still hurts." The group's navigator asked, "Why do you keep teasing Yo Riem and getting hit? Our superiors told us not to touch her." He replied sullenly, "I just wanted to make friends. Didn't expect she's really crazy." A lackey then spoke up, "But Johnny, earlier you meant to chase someone away to win Yo Riem over. Were you serious?" Hearing that he flinched, "Of course not. I was just testing her reaction." To cover himself, he stamped fiercely and shouted, "Ah, Yo Riem, just wait. See you later. I'll tear you apart." Unexpectedly, out of nowhere, a chilling voice to Johnny rang out, "Tear me apart." Big Sis Red rushed over from somewhere, her sword gleaming oddly, her face full of affection, which froze Johnny for 5 seconds. He was speechless, his expression frozen. Red looked at him and taunted, "Try it then." Before he could move, she delivered a kick to his jaw, the second strike. Johnny's pitiful HP dropped from 100 to 17. She then spun elegantly to the awe of onlookers. As a result, Johnny was kicked into a wall, causing a significant aftershock. Johnny's navigator thought in shock, "Damn, we've been monitored," he yelled. "We're under attack, prepare to fight." And the two lackeys readied their machine guns and assumed attack positions. Red landed on the ground and said calmly, "Fight all you want, you've got it wrong." Then she slowly lifted her head and smiled savagely, This is just my one-sided hunt, you dog. Johnny's teammate opened fire at Yo Riem, but unfortunately, Yo Riem was fast enough to dodge the bullets. Seeing this, the other guy immediately panicked and shouted, "Don't come here." Yet in the blink of an eye, Yo Riem was already in front of him. Without hesitation, she swung her sword down, causing him to lose all his blood. No sooner had she finished than Yo Riem realized something. Someone was charging at her, and she didn't hesitate either. Instead of dodging, she raised her sword to block. This surprised the attacker, who cursed inwardly, "You idiot." She didn't dodge and just blocked the counterattack. His position was higher, so he thought victory was certain. His weapon was also noticeably heavier, so he believed that no matter how strong Yo Riem was, there was no reason for him to be at a disadvantage. But life isn't a movie, and the attacker's eyes suddenly widened. Because Yo Riem was still standing tall, smirking with contempt. "You really think you can beat me in an arm wrestling contest?" With that, she chopped down, reducing him to a neat 0 HP. After wiping them out, Yo Riem was not pleased. She grumbled in annoyance. "What the heck was that? This guy didn't even let me warm up, is that it?" Just then Hisaki shouted a warning, "Yo Riem, there's still one over there." He frowned in confusion at the word, "another one," then glanced over and saw Johnny crawling up from the ground. The kick earlier hadn't finished him off. He still had 17 HP. Seeing Yo Riem look at him, he quickly begged, "Can you not kick my face anymore?" Sadly, Yo Riem had never listened to anyone, and she kicked him in the face, dropping his HP to a clean 0. Johnny's guardian saw this and cried out, "He's done for." Hisaki hurried over to praise, "Unreal, you single-handedly took them all out." Kim Jae-in silently admired. Didn't expect Yo Riem to be that strong. No wonder she's famous. But what surprised her more was Yo Riem's guardian, Jae-T. Even with mana sensing restricted, he still found the other team so quickly. In this training, the combat commander couldn't use mana. Yet Jae-T timed Yo Riem's strike perfectly and ordered the attack with flawless timing. Such keen tracking and perfect command. Kim Jae-in was sure he had once been a top-tier combat commander of the Alliance. At that moment, an announcement sounded. All members of Team 37 have been killed and will respawn elsewhere in 3 hours. Johnny's guardian quickly grabbed the 3 of them and left. Jae-T looked at them calmly, then gave a slight nod to the guardian. Just then a shout came from behind, "Hey, look at this." It startled Jae-T. It was Hisaki, who had just checked the rankings and cried out happily, "We jumped to 6th after taking down just one team." Kim Jae-in nodded in agreement. The demon combat simulation had only just begun, so many teams were still fighting. In that case, Yo Riem dominating a whole team without a scratch naturally puts them high on the list. He wanted to rush over and hug Yo Riem. "Awesome, Yo Riem, you're really good." But before he could even touch her, she clamped his mouth shut. Yo Riem scolded angrily, "You dried squid creep. What's so funny about standing back there grinning like an idiot?" She said, "When I charged in alone, what was Hisaki doing? Isn't he supposed to be the sniper? While I'm fighting, he should have found a position and got ready to snipe, not just stand behind like a bunch of fools." The two Hisakis took a verbal roasting from Yo Riem, and since she was right, they could only hang their heads and apologize. Seeing this, Yo Riem snorted with contempt, "And don't be happy just because we're 6. We're definitely going to get first place, got it?" she said, patting her chest with resolute eyes. The two Hisakis had no choice but to nod in agreement. But Yo Riem wasn't done. Half annoyed, she straightened Hisaki's clothes and scolded, "Hey, you dried squid, put your clothes on properly. You're not a kid." Jae-T stood to the side watching this and couldn't help but sigh wryly. While they were fighting, Jae-Ul had to stay home with Guardian, feeling terribly bored. Time passed and the demon combat simulation had been running for 2 days. In the control room of the virtual dungeon, Gi-T walked in with a cup of coffee, muttering as he walked, "Today's the last day of the simulation, right?" "Which team is currently first?" the assistant asked. The assistant immediately replied, "Team 1 is still leading, but Team 50 is hot on their heel." Gi-T frowned in puzzlement. "Let's see. Team 1 is those 52 elites, but who's Team 50? The assistant quickly said, "It's the team with student Yo Riem." Gi-T was startled. "Yo Riem, that crazy kid." The assistant whispered, "Yes, that's right. Yo Riem and 2 unguided students. Yo Riem is the only one doing direct attacks for their team, while Hisaki and Kim Jae-in are both marksmen." Gi-T commented on seeing this. "That's really a one-woman team carrying everything. Could she be strong enough to climb to 2nd? The TA hurriedly said, "I think it's thanks to the Guardian acting as the battle commander pulling them up. Look at this." Then he opened the map. Gi-T cried in surprise when he saw it. "Oh my, what is this?" On the map was an almost perfect movement route, which left him astonished. The TA glanced at him and asked, could he have been a battle commander in the Alliance? Gi-T dismissed it, shaking his head. "Hey, did you forget I used to be a battle commander? Who in this field don't I know? I've never heard that name before." Saying that, he fell into thought. The noteworthy figure of Qinggryang Academy, Yo Riem, and the prodigy praised by the magic professors, Yu Bong, all belonged to the clan established by that man named Jai Ti. The important thing was that information about this man was too clean, as if erased with an eraser, which made Gi Ti suspicious. While he was thinking, the TA hesitated and spoke up. Professor, there's one point that worries me. Gi Ti raised a brow and asked, yes, what is it? The TA slowly began. It seems Team 1 is using marking. The route of Team 1 never intersects with Teams 3 and 4, as if they're exchanging signals with each other. Hearing this, Gi Ti squinted and asked coldly, hey, TA, are you a sports referee? Which left the TA flustered. Gi Ti snorted and explained, our subject is real combat. Without external communication, conveying intent to each other isn't cheating, it's strategy. Shouldn't we be praising them for that? Hearing this, the TA realized and hurriedly replied, ah, I hadn't thought of it that way. Shrugging indifferently, Gi Ti continued, but if teams meet and don't fight, that is truly cheating. Inside the dungeon, Yo Riem was furious, punching the wall so hard it cracked. She shouted angrily, hey, we've never died once and we've been scoring continuously, right? Hisaki nodded slightly and replied, yes, that's right. Hearing that, Yo Riem grew unhappy and barked, then why are we still second? Startled, Hisaki answered in a trembling voice, well, second place is still very good. Yo Riem angrily punched and kicked him, watching his HP drop while she kept cursing, I told you, I won't accept anything less than first. Kim Jae-in hesitated and opened her mouth, sorry, but can't you be satisfied with second? Those words made Yo Riem start and turn to look back. Kim Jae-in felt briefly anxious, but still warned, you're fine, but we're running out of stamina, and besides, there's not much time left. She said that if they pushed too hard, they might lose points instead. They should consider the current situation and play it safe. No sooner had she finished than Yo Riem suddenly closed the distance and stood before Kim Jae-in, who panicked, what's this? Yo Riem softened her tone and said, MMHMM, I get it. Apart from the start, you guys did well, stuck close to me. That's enough effort. Hearing that, Kim Jae-in was moved, Yo Riem. Before she could finish, Yo Riem burst out in anger again, but it's precisely because of that you lot can't do anything. As she said this, she squeezed Kim Jae-in's shoulder, making her cry out in pain. But Yo Riem didn't care and continued berating them. Do you know why others look down on you and call you idiots? Because you don't have guardians. Jai Ti stood aside observing the surroundings, paying them no attention. With no one to stop her, Yo Riem ran rampant, shouting that it's because you give up as soon as you're tired. The loser mentality is ingrained in your brains. She said, on the very first day you two said you wouldn't hold me back, so stand up and stop living like loser. Hearing that, Hisaki looked up at her. Kim Jae-in bit her lip fiercely. She had felt the weight of what Yo Riem had said. Then immediately the two shouted in unison, we can do it. We'll take first place. Seeing them cheer, Yo Riem smiled in satisfaction. At that moment, Jai Ti suddenly spoke. Lecture over. Come here for a moment. The three of them quickly went over and saw strange markings appear on the wall before them. Yo Riem snorted. Yeah, no wonder I felt something odd. Do those guys use this mark to signal each other? Hisaki nodded in agreement. I checked elsewhere and saw similar marks. Thinking back, I feel like I've heard of seniors forming alliances to avoid clashes. He said the mark was probably left by them, but it's only suspicion. Jai Ti hesitated and said, there's no solid proof. Should we report this to management? It's not too late now. But Yo Riem fell silent in thought. After a long moment, she scoffed and said, no need. Kim Jae-in looked at her in confusion, and Yo Riem put on a sinister smile and said, I have a better idea. This will make those bastards learn their lesson properly. Elsewhere, Team 1 was also constantly checking the rankings on the information board. Team 1 is currently ranked first. A chubby blonde in the team checked the time on the display. 0 hours 40 minutes 35 seconds remaining, then announced to the team, it's almost over, 40 minutes left until the simulation ends. The red-haired girl in front suddenly turned and asked him, is Team 50 still in second? The blonde quickly confirmed, yes, but don't worry. So long as we don't die, first place will be ours. Then he added with interest, and the captain of the second-ranked team is that kid Yo Riem, right? I heard she's great at fighting. Didn't expect she'd be this formidable, a freshman up to second place. If they don't have a perfect plan, it could be dangerous for us. Those words barely left his mouth when the person ahead froze slightly. The red-haired girl immediately realized the situation and hurriedly snapped at the blonde. Hey, no matter how good she is, she's not better than our captain. Watch your mouth, you pig. He's from the renowned Yang swordsmanship clan. Team 1's captain is of that distinguished Yang swordsmanship lineage, Yang Mayan-go. The blonde knew he'd misspoken and forced a conciliatory laugh. Mayan-go, I'm sorry, I slipped up. Yang Mayan-go calmly warned, don't let your guard down, the exam isn't over yet. Though outwardly calm, he was filled with determination inwardly. No matter how strong Yo-Riem was, his goal was to take first in this exam to gain recognition from his clan head. He seethed, remembering someone else. Just wait, I'll prove I'm superior to that Yang Ti-ha. Just then their instructor looked uneasy and asked the group, hey, you haven't changed plans midway, right? Yang Mayan-go responded at once, no, sir, what's wrong? But the moment he looked ahead, he was startled. The walls ahead were covered with numerous markings they'd placed. The blonde, seeing them, panicked and shouted, what? Why are there so many markings? How are we supposed to know who passed through and which way we should go now? He ground his teeth in anger. Who pulled this stunt? The red-haired girl warned the group, stay calm, someone's coming. From the tunnel ahead came the sound of a group approaching. As soon as they saw those people, Yang Mayan-go exclaimed in surprise, are you people Team 3? The Team 3 members also stared back, Team 1. The blonde was now confused too, we're supposed to be allies. The red-haired girl immediately asked Yang Mayan-go for instructions. Captain, what should we do now? Without hesitation he answered, what else? Kill them, and drew his weapon. The Team 3 members were thrown into turmoil by the situation. Hey, they're going to fight for real. Should we pretend to lose? The Team 3 captain, more composed, immediately rejected the idea and cursed, you idiot. Do you think Instructor Giti is stupid? I don't know what to do now. Finally he swore and decided, God damn it, it's too late, just attack first. At that command, both sides rushed in and engaged in close quarters combat. On a high cliff nearby, Yo-Riem's group watched with interest from above, watching them tear each other apart. Hisaki couldn't believe the scene below. No, he didn't expect the plan to actually work. Yo-Riem, still excited, asked him, want to bet on who wins? A few minutes earlier, Hisaki and Kim Jae-in had both looked at Yo-Riem in surprise. You're using those marks against... Yo-Riem pointed at the marks on the rock and explained to the two, that's right. Even if we don't know what the marks originally meant, we just need to redraw them enough that they don't recognize them. Their roots will be confused and their plan will collapse on its own. My plan is that simple. Hisaki and Kim Jae-in followed her instructions, walking around and filling the area with similar marks. In the meantime, Yo-Riem would split off to hunt others for extra points. If she ran into the first-place team, she'd beat them to pieces. Kim Jae-in hesitated and interrupted. Hey, I have a question. What if we wander and run into another team? Having anticipated the question, Yo-Riem pointed at Jae-ti, coward, I'll lend you this uncle to lead the way. Know your route and run. He protested indignantly, am I a tool? But Yo-Riem asked him nonchalantly, so, my plan okay? Jae-ti was silent for a moment, then finally nodded in agreement, fine. Receiving his approval, Yo-Riem smugly thought, I knew it. This plan is badass, no words needed. Back to the present, Yang Mayan-go finally defeated the captain of Team 3. The announcement board immediately displayed, Team 3 has been eliminated. The red-haired girl, clutching her injured shoulder, weakly told Yang Mayan-go, Captain, I'm sorry, I died. He calmly replied, it's fine. We wiped out Team 3, so our points even went up. If we survive like this. At that moment, a voice cut him off. Who said you lot are going to live? Yang Mayan-go startled and became alert. Who's there? Yo-Riem leapt down from the cliff and theatrically replied, asking who I am. In this chaotic time, I'm the true villain here. Before her appearance, the atmosphere fell silent in an instant. Yo-Riem calmly faced Yang Mayan-go, while he looked at her suspiciously, wondering, could this be the one who ruined our plan? But he quickly glanced up at the cliff. They're up there. Hisaki stuck his head out and told Yo-Riem, Yo-Riem, we'll cover you. Seeing the two of them, Yang Mayan-go smiled cold. He quickly ordered Wei, you're still able to move, right? Up there are 2 members of Team 50, deal with them. The blonde objected resentfully, can't we just not retreat? Stalling like this would win us the match. Yang Mayan-go immediately spoke sternly, Wei. He glared at the man threateningly. Don't make me repeat myself. Wei fell silent but cursed inwardly. Damn it, who does he think he is? But in the end he agreed aloud. Got it. I'll head back immediately. With a single jump, he leapt up to the cliff, where Hisaki and Kim Jae-in were hiding. He greeted them with a jeer at their terrified faces. Hey kids. Then arrogantly twisted his arm and slowly advanced. I'm a bit busy, so let's finish this quickly. The two of them screamed in unison, then turned and ran, run. Wei also shouted, where are you running to? Then dashed past Jae-ti and chased below. Yo-Riem heard the shouts echoing from above, and remarked with amusement, look, the flying pig. But then she was suddenly startled. Quickly drawing her sword, she blocked an attack from Yang Mayan-go, who had struck while she was distracted. He growled a warning at her. Now's not the time to be distracted. Yo-Riem swung her sword forcefully, pushing him back. As she steadied herself, Yang Mayan-go suddenly asked, Your name is Yo Riem, right? I didn't expect you could ruin my plan. Credit where it's due. You're not just a brawler. Yo Riem sneered back, colluding and calling it strategy, you idiot. Yang Mayan Go arrogantly replied, stop right there. No matter how much you struggle, first place belongs to the Yang clan. Yo Riem confidently swung her sword. No way. She turned to Jai T, who was calmly watching the fight above, and declared confidently, because first place belongs to our Yu clan. Elsewhere, Hisaki and Kim Jae-in were desperately running with Wei pursuing behind. The man shouted angrily at them, behave and stop, you first-year brats. Kim Jae-in ran ahead trying to encourage Hisaki following behind. Hold on a bit longer, Hisaki. That pig just fought, so he must be pretty injured. When he tires, we'll counterattack. But Hisaki was gasping for air, eyes rolling back, mouth agape, stammering to her, what did you say? I can't hear clearly anymore. Hisaki's state made Kim Jae-in scream in terror. Startle me. He looks 10 years older. Hisaki croaked back to her. Kim Jae-in, you run, I can't run anymore. Kim Jae-in tried to both encourage and threaten him. Don't give up. Do you want to die by Yo Riem's hands? Hisaki suddenly snarled at Kim Jae-in. No, I'm not giving up. I'll leave the front to you and Yo Riem. Saying that, he turned and fired an arrow straight at Wei, which made the man flinch immediately. Meanwhile, Hisaki remembered his past of being bullied and poured out all his resentment. I'm sick of being looked down on for having no protector and being weak. He resolutely drew his bow. I won't run away anymore. But the arrow fell weakly halfway, leaving all three frozen. Finally, the first to speak up was Hisaki. He shouted in panic. Maybe because I was busy erasing marks earlier, my arms exhausted. Wei reacted quickly, jumping up and punching Hisaki square in the face. You scared the hell out of me, you dog. Just that one punch knocked Hisaki out. Kim Jae-in anxiously drew her weapon and called him, idiot Hisaki. But immediately Wei grabbed her face. The man aggressively slammed Kim Jae-in against the wall. Where do you think you're going? After restraining Kim Jae-in, he sneered and said, hey, I've checked your and that dried fish guy's records. Don't you two have any protect? You trash were pulled up to second place and think you're something special. Kim Jae-in suddenly laughed through her teeth. Only second place. Wei was momentarily taken aback by the situation, then heard Kim Jae-in say coldly, sorry about that, and a gleam flashed in one of her eyes. Kim Jae-in was activating the archer support skill. She declared firmly to him, we care about first place more, and the gun in Kim Jae-in's hand aimed straight at the glowing Wei. He cried out in confusion, wait. But as he instinctively put his hand up to block and dodge, Kim Jae-in's shot went straight upward. Wei, seeing her attack miss him, finally exhaled in relief. Shit, that scared me. Then he aggressively insulted her. Kim Jae-in, your mana gun can't even fire properly and you want first place. Know your place. But she laughed coldly and replied, what are you talking about? I'm using it correctly. Her gaze fixed on the boulder falling straight toward Wei's head. In an instant, the large rock slammed into his head. Wei suddenly realized, could it be that it wasn't aimed at, but at someone above? Wei was finally taken down by Kim Jae-in, and she herself slumped against the wall, exhausted, whispering Yo Riem. I did my best, really. The system announcement immediately updated. Remaining members of Team 1. A red-haired girl from Team 1 suddenly opened her eyes. The instructor standing nearby asked her with concern, awake. She shook her head slightly and quickly sat up. Yes, I'm a bit dizzy. Then anxiously asked about the situation. My guardian, my team, how is everyone? He quickly answered her, Wei is dead, and Yang Mayan Go is still fighting. She couldn't believe it and looked toward the ongoing battle. What is the captain at a disadvantage? Because of that petty girl, Yang Mayan Go was now slumped beneath a cliff, while Yo Riem still stood calmly before him, thinking her punches were impressive. Turns out that's all there is, how disappointing. She kept taunting, don't use the excuse that you were exhausted from fighting other teams. I smashed a few teams before meeting you. Yang Mayan Go gritted his teeth angrily and retorted, don't act like the victor. He lunged fiercely, swinging a heavy slash at Yo Riem and snarling. How dare a low-class family have that nerve? But immediately afterward, his crown was pressed down by a hand. Yo Riem from above sneered, the low-class one is your actual strength. As she said it, she kicked down hard on Yang Mayan Go. But her expression immediately grew, even more exhilarated. When Yang Mayan Go raised his sword to block the knee pinning him, block that. Yang Mayan Go used all his strength and flung Yo Riem off of him with force. At this point he had to admit, fine, I admit you're stronger than I expected, but you lack sword mastery. His voice instantly turned threatening, his expression extremely dark. Now I'll show you the gap in rank. Yo Riem remained highly excited and responded with slight disdain. You got beaten to a pulp and still acting tough. But then she suddenly froze, because Yang Mayan Go had crouched into a guard, and blade energy around him seemed to form into a roaring azure dragon. It was the Yang clan's sword technique, first form, Dragon Ascension. The guardian standing outside couldn't help but ask in surprise, Yang Mayan Go, when did she learn the secret techniques of the Yang clan? Jai Ti remained to the side, calmly watching the mat. Meanwhile, Yoriam stood close to Mayan Go, alert and thinking to herself, the wind feels like it's become a blade. Could this be the Yang clan's swordsmanship? But that only made her more exhilarated. Pretty cool, actually. Yang Mayan Go now rode atop the surge of blade energy and charged straight at Yoriam. He arrogantly shouted at her, no matter how strong you are, with that wild style you can't touch the famed swordsmanship of the Yang clan. Yang clan's swordsmanship, second form, Dragon Endurance Pierce. Yang Mayan Go swept past Yoriam like a gust of wind, launching several sword strikes at once, aiming straight at Yoriam felt as if Yang Mayan Go's razor-sharp blade energy had pierced straight through her. While he was still smugly murmuring to himself, who would have thought my first time using swordsmanship would be here? Yang Mayan Go recalled his grueling training days, years spent secretly hunting himself to manifest the dragon's sword. He gripped the sword he just struck with, thinking proudly that real combat is the ultimate proof. Now the elders in the clan can acknowledge me. I'm far superior to that Yang Tiha guy. But at that moment, he realized only the lower half of his sword remained in his hand. Yang Mayan Go panicked and wondered, where's my sword? At that instant, a cold voice answered him, it's here. Along with Yoriam's silhouette appearing behind him like death, she casually taunted him, hey, you boasted so much about your famed family swordsmanship that I figured I'd give it some thought too. Yang Mayan Go spun to look, utterly stunned that that brat had his sword. The blade of Yang Mayan Go was clenched in Yoriam's mouth. She sneered at him, famed swordsmanship without a sword is just low class, isn't it? Then mimicking Yang Mayan Go, she loudly proclaimed, you clan's swordsmanship, form 999, baseball bat strike. Yang Mayan Go was struck and sent flying by a blow, yet he couldn't help shouting curses. Damn, this isn't swordsmanship. Yang Mayan Go was knocked unconscious by Yoriam, but she herself was also breathing heavily, staggering but still smiling triumphantly. First place got first place, she said, then collapsed backward. Jai Ti, who appeared without her noticing, reached out and caught her, and calmly asked how Yoriam felt after the victory. Yoriam cheerfully replied, you're exhausting as hell. I'm going to heal properly like you, Ga Yul. At that moment, the system announced the final rankings for the demonic combat training exercise as follows. Team Yoriam No 50, rank 1. Jai Ti kindly told Yoriam, I heard it's snowing outside. His words made her frown in annoyance. Really? Then the wounds will sting. Cut to outside, where snow was now falling on the street. Looking out from inside, Ga Yul remarked, do you know why it's snowing in such a warm spring? Because it's Jai-Yo Ul. They say when the Lamb clan's mood turns sorrowful, white snow falls around them. In other words, little Jai-Yo Ul is feeling lonely. Then she turned and said, so as the clan's guardian, you tasked with tidying up must melt Jai-Yo Ul's heart. The guardian stammered in response, I understand, miss. But with that appearance, will it really melt Miss Jai-Yo Ul's heart? Look at him all princess-like. Ga Yul replied amusedly, of course, these days every child loves this character. She confidently commanded, then let's deploy now to melt Jai-Yo Ul's heart. The guardian nodded in agreement. Little Jai-Yo Ul was now sitting in the living room playing. She sat drawing alone, feeling extremely bored. Then from behind, the guardian approached. Miss Jai-Yo Ul, you seem very bored. Would you like to play princess with me? He put on a cute face, but it didn't look cute at all. Seeing him like that made Jai-Yo Ul angry. She clenched her fist so hard the colored pencil in her hand snapped in two. Seeing this, the guardian wondered, Miss Jai-Yo Ul, why are you like this? Yubam stepped forward from behind and asked, what is this, what's that? The guardian explained, that I thought if I dressed up as a cartoon character Miss Jai-Yo Ul would be pleased, so I tried it. Seeing Yubam appear, Ga Yul gasped, oh no, she discovered it. Yubam, now exasperated, sighed and replied, this appearance only makes Jai-Yo Ul more frightened. Go wash your face quick. Then he turned to Ga Yul to explain, but Miss Ga Yul said you'd definitely like it. Ga Yul immediately denied it. I never said that. Shortly after, the guardian went into the bathroom to remove the makeup and return to his normal appearance. From outside, at this moment, the door opened. Jai Ti and Yoriam had returned. She angrily rubbed her head. What the hell? Why is it snowing in May? The two returned and Ga Yul excitedly came to greet them. Uncle, Sister Yoriam, it's really been a long time. Did you have fun? Yoriam shot an annoyed look. Thought you were just out having fun. The girl asked, weren't you just out playing? Yoriam now flashed a triumphant smile, holding a snowball in her hand, and replied, yeah, exactly. So while coming back from playing, I brought one for you. Immediately realizing her intent, Ga Yul turned and ran, but Yoriam had anticipated this. She grabbed the strap of Ga-Yul's clothes, stuffed the snowball down her back, and laughed loudly. Here, take it. An icy chill shot through, making Ga-Yul scream, it's freezing. What did you put in my back? A chunk of snow. Yo-Riem answered, yeah, and I threw in a little dog poop as a bonus. Hearing that, Ga-Yul's eyes teared up. I hate you. Yubom then stepped forward to check in. You've worked hard, uncle. He nodded in greeting to her. Then he turned his gaze down toward little Jayo-ul. He asked, what's this? Yubom replied, it's a gift from Jayo-ul for you. Picking up the drawing she had just made, he explained with delight. This is me, and these two are Yo-Riem and Ga-Yul, right? And the one cleaning, and the one holding Jayo-ul are. Yubom answered, I think that's you. He asked again, how's this? Yubom continued, because you're the one holding Jayo-ul. At this, the corner of his mouth twitched into a smile, and he turned to make a suggestion. Let's go somewhere tomorrow, 2 days and 1 night. This made Yubom pleased. You want to travel. Maybe it's thanks to Jayo-ul that your mood has improved. He glanced away evasively and said, not entirely though. Noticing this, little Jayo-ul's mood brightened considerably. Along with that, sunlight returned to the town, dispelling the previous chill. This surprised the people below a bit. Look, the snow has stopped. This place is about 2,000 km north of the Mongolian border, within Russian territory. Over 20 years ago, it was used as part of a military base during wartime, but now it's an extremely secret location with no human traces. The extended family was now present there. Ga-Yul exclaimed with delight, wow, it's so beautiful. She playfully splashed the water and asked him, how do you know a place this beautiful? Look how clear the water is, you can even see the bottom. He replied, I learned about it back when we were assaulting the fortress. Yo-Riem lay on the car roof yawning. Honestly, we could just teleport here. Why bother renting a car? Yubom smiled and said, sometimes it's nice to drive around like this. Seeing him turn to leave, she asked, Uncle, where are you going? He answered, I'm going to pitch a tent nearby and look for food. Go have fun, kids. She asked, can I come with you? He replied, you're the oldest sister. You should take care of Jayo-ul. Being refused made the little girl a bit sad, and all of these actions were within Yo-Riem's sight. She pushed up her glasses and looked on with a scrutinizing gaze. After a while of fussing, he had finished pitching the tent and began to light a fire. After the fire was lit, he went to search for food. Holding a purple mushroom in his hand, he hesitated for a moment, but then decided to take it. Upon returning, he told everyone, everything's ready, come on over. Then his expression suddenly tightened slightly. Little Yubom replied, it's all done already. We finished playing and are snacking now. What caught his eye earlier was the kids in bikinis looking so refreshing. Muttering about the swimsuit, she quickly answered, yes, it's the bikini I wore at the mall before. Uncle, you still remember. She continued, Uncle, you actually wanted to look, didn't you? How I look in a bikini. He put on a mock-serious young man face and said, go put your clothes back on. Yo-Riem stepped in to tease, what's with avoiding eye contact? Are you embarrassed? Do you see us as women now? You said you'd help pitch the tent but didn't check what kind. If I knew, I'd have worn a super sexy micro bikini here. He was left speechless, unable to reply. After that, Yo-Riem was punished by him and flung straight into the river. Ga-Yul watched delightedly and said, that's the punishment for stealing my cup noodles, big sis. And so a long day passed. Dusk arrived. The kids' faces looked a little disappointed as they stared at the pot of food before them. Looking at the purple pot that looked as if it couldn't be more poisonous, Ga-Yul wondered, what's this? He replied, mushroom hot pot. Yo-Riem asked again, isn't that poisonous mushroom hot pot? Ga-Yul added, when I was in the Amazon, I ate too many poisonous mushrooms, so I don't want any more. Yubom exclaimed, you even survived there. Just smelling it made Yo-Riem wrinkle her face like a monkey's. Oh fate, talking about poisonous mushrooms, just looking at it makes it look like an abscess. Even the stray dog next door wouldn't touch it. He snapped, yet the food Yubom cooks is always eaten clean. Yubom pouted, Uncle, are you insulting my cooking? Last time you even praised my food as tasty. Those words startled him a bit. He could only clear his throat to dodge the top. Yo-Riem continued, anyway, I don't want to eat this. Before I flip this table, bring out the instant noodles. Ga-Yul angrily retorted, you already finished them earlier. Paying no attention to them, Yubom nudged Jayo-ul closer to the pot, then scooped a spoonful into her mouth and chewed voraciously. This drew the attention of the others. Seeing that, Ga-Yul shouted, Jayo-ul, don't eat just anything from there. Yo-Riem intervened, hey, spit it out now, hurry up. He at the back remained calm, it's actually good for your health. Contrary to everyone's expectations, the little girl put on a delighted face and exclaimed, delicious, very tasty. This surprised the other kids as well. She can talk now, really. The little girl ate another spoonful and giggled. Ga-Yul blankly asked, Jayo-ul can speak, but as soon as she said it, she realized how silly she sounded. What am I saying? Of course she can speak. She could speak from the moment she was born. Saying that, Ga Yul rushed over and hugged Jae-ul tightly, laughing. Oh my god, so it's not that you couldn't talk before but that you didn't want to. You wanted to talk all along but held back until now. Yo-Riem nearby snorted teasingly. Wasn't it because noisy blonde sister annoyed her, so she told herself she couldn't be like that? Ga Yul, displeased, retorted, "What are you saying? I'm naturally quiet." Jai-T paid no attention to that bickering pair. He glanced at Yu-Bom and asked, "Did you know about Jae-ul?" Yu-Bom nodded softly and replied, "Yes, I heard her speak when you weren't home." Jai-T asked suspiciously, "Then why didn't you tell me?" She replied calmly, "Because she wanted to choose when to speak herself. The first person she wanted to talk to was you." While the two were talking, Yo-Riem and Ga Yul continued arguing loudly. Jai-T, on the other hand, didn't pay attention to them. His gaze suddenly grew sharp. In one past loop, he had locked the adult Than Long in a cell, and she had tried to escape. At that time, Jai-T, furious, captured her and stepped on Than Long's body. He said coldly, "How many times must I tell you to understand? Than Long, you cannot leave here." Even though Than Long was badly injured and Jai-T's foot was on her face, she kept murmuring, "Please release me. You will need me." Jai-T remembered this and suddenly froze. But standing before Jai-T now was a very young Than Long, the girl leaning on him like that. He truly didn't know what to do. Jae-ul didn't understand Jai-T's tangled thoughts. She still wore an innocent smile and murmured, "The food is very good." That smile was something Jai-T had never seen in previous lifetimes. He must not regret having treated this fragile child poorly. Indeed, Jai-T absolutely must not feel regret, because regret is the beginning of the curse for one who loops back. Thus the replayer can only pray inward. Thinking that, Jai-T sat down facing Jae-ul. This action left Yo-Riem and Ga Yul stunned. Yu-Bom, meanwhile, watched him eagerly, focused. Right then, Jai-T pressed his forehead to Jae-ul's and murmured softly, "Thank you." The girl also gave a sincere smile, enjoying the warmth, at least in this loop. Jai-T hoped she would grow up strong and healthy. Shortly after, they still finished the mushroom hot pot that Jai-T had cooked. Yo-Riem looked at the empty pot and pouted, muttering, "I'm still hungry. It's all gone." Ga Yul snorted coldly and taunted, "Earlier you said even the dog wouldn't eat it." Yu-Bom then spoke up, "Hey kids, he cooked so cleaning up is your job. It's just that he hadn't finished saying that before Yo-Riem stood up, waved her hand and said, Ga Yul, you Jae-ul, you two clean it up yourselves." Ga Yul, outraged, shouted, "That's cheating. Where are you going?" Yo-Riem replied nonchalantly, "Going to smoke and exercise after eating, you fools." Just then, a hand suddenly landed on her shoulder. It was Yu-Bom. Her tone was slightly cold. "Yo-Riem and you Ga Yul, clean up." Yo-Riem stiffened instantly and remained unresponsive for a long moment. After a while she sighed reluctantly, "Fine, I'll do it, happy now." No sooner had she spoken than she created a magic circle. Yu-Bom, seeing this, asked suspiciously, "Yo-Riem, isn't that a summoning circle?" She answered calmly, "Wait and see." Very quickly after, Yo-Riem pulled a head out from inside the circle. She complained irritably, "Its face is so heavy. Get out here, come on." As soon as she finished speaking, the guard immediately appeared and asked suspiciously, "Miss Yo-Riem, why did you summon me?" "Could it be that everyone is afraid I'll be lonely at home by myself?" Too bad you're wishful thinking. Yo-Riem put her arm over his shoulder and pointed to one side. The pile of bowls and pots they had eaten from. She raised an eyebrow and smiled, "What are you looking at? Go clean them up." With no other choice, the guard had to get to work. Yu-Bom comforted from the side, and Jai-T, who had just returned, saw this scene and couldn't help but be puzzled. He frowned and asked, "Why is that servant here?" Yo-Riem answered nonchalantly, "Because he's a servant." Ga Yul sulked and scolded, "You're really mean." Yo-Riem refused to concede and suggested with a pout, "Then you help too." Hearing this, Ga Yul felt ashamed and loudly cheered, "Go for it, servant." At that moment, Jai-T noticed something and glanced in one direction. Then he spoke sternly, "You girls get into the tent now." Ga Yul asked suspiciously, Is something wrong, uncle?" Jai-T didn't answer. He stared toward the forest where a figure was slowly emerging. Jai-T watched the person with extreme caution. The newcomer was a middle-aged man, wearing a wide-brimmed hat. Yo-Riem and Ga Yul were immediately stunned, whispering in confusion, "A hiker. Who is this middle-aged man?" The middle-aged man warmly took Jai-T's hand and asked if his family was on a picnic. Jai-T replied curtly, "We're traveling. What about you?" The man explained enthusiastically, "We're out for a trip too. This is my beautiful wife and my precious son," he said, pointing behind him to a pregnant woman. The man continued, "I didn't expect anyone beyond my friends to know this place. It's so remote. By the way, haven't you picked mushrooms around here before?" Hearing that, Jai-T frowned and asked, "Do you mean Abaddon mushrooms? I ate them all." This statement made the man startle and shock, but he quickly laughed awkwardly and said, "Ah, is that so? Actually, those mushrooms are ones I planted. Since few people come here, I didn't expect anyone to eat. Jai-T felt guilty and said, sorry about that. The man shook his head and said, haha, it's fine. It's my fault for not putting up a sign. While they were talking, Yo-Riem came up beside Jai-T and asked quietly, who is he? He looks really strong. Jai-T shook his head slightly and replied, I don't know. But in truth, he did know who the man was. He just hadn't expected to meet him here. That middle-aged man was ranked 9th in the superhuman world, the reborn mage Myung-Yang-Ha, one of the few nature-type superhumans regarded as a national-level tactical weapon. Jai-T had fought alongside Yang-Ha before and had also opposed him in previous loops. He couldn't remember everything, only that Yang-Ha was always worried about his pregnant wife's illness. Perhaps those mushroom beds were cultivated for her. Thinking that, Jai-T reached into the shallowest part of the chasm. Then he took something out and threw it toward Yang-Ha. Myung-Yang-Ha looked baffled at the object in his hand and asked suspiciously, what is this? Jai-T replied indifferently, it's a substitute for mushrooms. It's very nutritious too. Hearing that, Yang-Ha bowed 90 degrees and said, my goodness, you don't have to be so polite. I'll accept it, thank you very much. Child, say thank you to uncle. This is even rarer than Abaddon mushrooms. Consider the debt paid, okay? But as he was about to leave, a voice called from behind, hey kid, since we've met like this, do you have time? Seeing him pause, Yang-Ha continued with a smile, if you go a little further, there's a spot with a beautiful fissure. The view there is truly amazing. Everyone, shall we go together? Jai-T wanted to decline, but Yo-Riem and Ga-Yul beat him to it. Ga-Yul excitedly interrupted, the scenery sounds beautiful, I love it. Yo-Riem, on the other hand, boldly proposed, what scenery? You look capable, wanna fight me. Hearing that, Yang-Ha laughed out loud, haha, these girls are straightforward, but I don't much like fighting. Jai-T sighed helplessly, those two really were something. Just then, a vine suddenly appeared from the ground. In an instant, it wrapped around the waists of Yo-Riem and Ga-Yul, startling them, and before they could react, Yang-Ha lifted them up high. He cheerfully said, come on, buckle up. Let's go enjoy the scenery. Yang-Ha's wife, feeling embarrassed, said, oh dear, sorry about him. My husband is a bit childish. Jai-T shook his head and replied, it's fine. We'll clean up here and follow. Go ahead without us. Yang-Ha's wife nodded at that and went after Yang-Ha, who had already run off. Only then did Yu-Bam approach, smiling. It's lively. Looks like two families out on an outing together. But do you know how we're different from that family? Jai-T answered without hesitation, because we're not a real family. After hearing that, Yu-Bam laughed and shook her head, not quite. Listen to me. If you're the father, then I'll be the eldest sister. Those others will be the younger siblings. But then there would be no mother. Isn't that a problem? That made Jai-T stunned, unsure how to respond. Without waiting for his reaction, Yu-Bam removed her hair tie, letting her long curly hair blow in the wind. She then stepped in front of Jai-T and faced him. Raising an eyebrow, she said, I think I should become the mother. Saying that, Yu-Bam smiled gently, her eyes full of sincerity. Jai-T was stunned, not knowing how to react. Seeing his reaction, Yu-Bam couldn't help but snort with laughter. She then patted his shoulder and laughed. Just kidding, I'm just joking, your ears are red again. He hurriedly covered his ears and Yu-Bam pushed further, your ears are really red. Take your hand away so I can see. He shooed her irritably. That's enough joking, go chase after them. At that moment, the voice of the Duke's shadow came into his ear. Master, I've found a lead related to Prototype X. Jai-T frowned at this, a thought briefly flashing across his eyes. After a long moment he spoke, you go ahead. Yu-Bam froze, unsure of his intent. He said coldly, I'll handle something and come back. Yu-Bam hurriedly called after him, Uncle, but Jai-T had already stepped straight into the spatial gate. Yu-Bam watched his retreating figure and muttered in confusion, where is he going at this hour? The guard couldn't help guessing. If he says that maybe he's going to the bathroom, must be urgent, huh? Yu-Bam was speechless and glared at him. Raising an eyebrow, she asked, so you finished cleaning and now have time to joke? The guard nodded, yes, I've finished cleaning everything. Elsewhere in Moscow, Russia, a figure silently stood on the rooftop of a high-rise building. It was the Duke's shadow, currently disguised as a woman within the demon organization. Not long after, Jai-T appeared from the spatial teleportation circle. The Duke's shadow immediately bowed. You've arrived, master. Jai-T replied calmly, I just stopped by briefly. I have to return right away. The Duke's shadow hesitated and suggested, if you're busy you could just call. Jai-T looked up at the dark sky and melancholic said, I just wanted to breathe for a moment, which stunned it. But Jai-T ignored that and asked seriously, what is X's whereabouts? The Duke's shadow didn't think further and handed him a file, saying, please review this. Jai-T took it, frowning and murmuring. The Duke's shadow replied slowly, This is the plan to send X to the front lines of the demons, the project to attack the superhuman alliance. Jai T opened the file and looked through it. The Duke's shadow beside him kept explaining. Recently, Master eliminated demons hiding in rare zones, throwing their organization into disarray. They've begun to realize something is obstructing. He understood and nodded, so they decided to strike first. The Duke's shadow nodded. Their target is a 70-person assault team. X will conceal their identity, infiltrate the unit, and kill everyone. Jai T frowned slightly and asked, "What about X's personal information?" The Duke's shadow apologized. "I'm sorry, I haven't been able to find that yet." After a long silence, Jai T burned the document in his hand and said seriously, "I'll go in person. You stay here and continue monitoring this area. Obediently, please be careful." The Duke's shadow nodded in acknowledgement. Over here, Yang Ha's group had climbed to a mountaintop and spread mats, waiting in this spot. After chatting for a while, Yang Ha learned Jayo Ul's name. He couldn't help laughing aloud, so the baby's name means winter, and these girls are spring, summer, and autumn. These lovely girls cover all 4 seasons. Hearing his laugh, Yo Riem muttered in displeasure, "Our names still feel like they were picked at random." Ga Yul shrugged, "So what? I think it's cute, hee. Yu Bom didn't join the conversation. At this moment, she had realized something. Glancing back, she saw that Jai T had returned. She called out happily, "Why are you late? You said you'd only be gone a moment." Jai T replied indifferently, "I ran into an acquaintance." Yu Bom asked suspiciously, "Who did you meet?" Yo Riem then poked her head out to tease. "Who could it be at this hour? Must be a secret lover." Yu Bom was annoyed by that remark and glared at her. Yo Riem could only change the subject and shouted to Yang Ha, "When will the view appear? It's almost dawn." Yang Ha hurriedly answered, "Ah, it's about to start. Everyone look up at the sky." At his suggestion, everyone looked up and saw a crack in the black night. Ga Yul exclaimed in surprise, "Oh, there's a fissure in the sky." Immediately after, her eyes widened in astonishment. Inside the crack was another sky, full of colors and countless tiny, flattering stars. Seeing everyone's delight, Yang Ha laughed excitedly. "Ha ha, how do you like it, kids? It's absolutely breathtaking, right?" Yo Riem stared at the scene above, incredulous, muttering, "Oh my god, goosebumps." Ga Yul quickly recorded it, excitedly saying, "It's amazing. This isn't an illusion, is it?" Yu Bom glanced at Jai T and asked, "Uncle, have you ever seen anything like this?" Jai T shook his head slightly and replied, "I'm not sure either." Then he fell silent, his eyes fixed intently on that star-filled sky. At that moment, a vague vision suddenly flashed through Yu Bom's eyes. She pursed her lips and murmured, "Uncle, could it be that you?" Before she could finish, Ga Yul's startled shout cut her off. "Wow, a shooting star." Just as she said, a meteor streaked across the sky. Yu Bom, however, paid no attention to it and continued staring at Jai T. Ga Yul and Yo Riem watched with great delight. Yang Ha's family was no different. Such a beautiful sight was perfect to admire with family. At the same time, Yang Ha's son suddenly glanced over toward Jayo Ul in Jai T's arms. His cheeks flushed in an instant, but Jayo Ul didn't notice. She was intently watching the meteor, her big round eyes sparkling like water, clearly very happy. This overwhelmingly beautiful scene had been claimed by them today. The chance encounter was full of romance. After an impressive night, a new day began. Everyone had risen and was preparing to part ways. Yang Ha took Jai T's hand and laughed. "Ha ha, although it was short, I really enjoyed it." Jai T nodded in agreement. "Thanks to you, we had our eyes open." Yang Ha suddenly winked and whispered, "That place is beautiful. I proposed to my wife there." His wife behind him muttered irritably, "I heard that, why say such things here?" Jai T hesitated for a long moment before saying, "Romantic indeed." Those words stunned Yang Ha. Seeing his reaction, Jai T asked somewhat nervously, "What's the matter?" Yang Ha scratched his head awkwardly. "Ah, I just didn't expect you'd say something like that. Do you have someone in your heart?" That question sent Jai T into silence. He suddenly glanced toward the riverbank, where Yu Bom and Jayo Ul were standing. Jai T suddenly remembered a girl in the past, wearing a white dress, with hair down to her waist, who also played joyfully by the river. Her smile was so beautiful it made one's heart flutter. Pain briefly crossed Jai T's face, and he murmured softly, "Not anymore." Yang Ha was about to say something when his wife suddenly let out a dry cough and spat up a mouthful of blood. Yang Ha cried out anxiously, "Honey, are you okay? You haven't shown any symptoms recently, so why now?" Seeing his wife unwell, he hurriedly took her hand and with his son stepped into the spatial gate. "We'll excuse ourselves and go ahead." After saying goodbye to their family, Jai T went over to Yu Bom and spoke. "Yu Bom, Jayo Ul, let's head back." But Yu Bom stood there frozen, showing no reaction. Seeing this, Jai T frowned, went over, patted her shoulder and called Yu Bom. She startled out of her thoughts. He asked suspiciously, "Why are you standing there like that?" Yu Bom embarrassedly said, "Sorry, I was just lost in thought." Then she remembered something and said, Oh, it seems Jayo-ul doesn't want to leave yet. She's been staring at that pond the whole time. Hearing that, Jai-T fell silent and watched the little girl for a long while. Jayo-ul sat there wide-eyed, looking down at the water, her eyes full of melancholy. After hesitating for a moment, Jai-T took a bottle and walked toward the water. This action of his left Jayo-ul stunned. Jai-T smiled and said, "Let's come here again next time, okay?" Jayo-ul took the bottle of water from his hand. After a while, the little girl finally smiled, looking very satisfied. Just then Yoriam stuck her head out of the car and, impatient, shouted loudly, "Come on, hurry up and move those feet." Elsewhere at the hospital, after returning, Yang Ha's wife was receiving an IV drip. Yang Ha sat beside the hospital bed, his silhouette utterly lonely. His wife had weakened to the point of needing a ventilator for support. He pressed his lips together and murmured, "My dear." At that moment, a hand suddenly appeared and rested on Yang Ha's shoulder, startling him into looking over. He saw a youth standing there who raised an eyebrow and smiled. "Hey, long time no see, weeb." This youth was ranked second on the global superhuman leaderboard, the first returned regressor. Outside the hospital, the patient and many others kept coming and going. Teen BM sat on the bench, tilting his head back to gulp down an orange drink. Yang Ha sat opposite, sipping his drink and chatting with a laugh. "Haha, it's been a few months, BM. I heard you've been busy lately. You didn't even show up at the grand banquet." BM puckered his lips at that and said, "I just stepped out to grab some stuff and thought I'd stop by to see how you're doing. I have to get back to the lab now." As he spoke, his gaze suddenly lingered on Yang Ha for a long moment. BM then slowly opened his mouth. "I heard your wife was doing better recently, so what's this about again?" Yang Ha sighed helplessly and answered, "Yeah, we just went camping not long ago," and she relapsed. As he said this, he pressed his lips together. His face was full of sorrow. It's been 10 years. What use is medicine or magic, no matter how advanced? No one still knows what Hawen's illness is. If only during that great battle, Yang Ha had protected her better, how different things would be. If it weren't for that damned ancient virus, Hawen wouldn't be in this state. Yang Ha deeply regretted those times. Hearing this, BM couldn't help but offer consolation. "You did everything you could." Then Yang Ha angrily crushed the can in his hand, gritting his teeth and muttering, "I won't accept it like this." His outburst startled BM. But Yang Ha still tightened his fists and said, "So what if I'm among the top heroes? What if I'm the world's strongest mage? Those things don't matter to me. I only want Hawen to be healthy." And as he said this, he couldn't help but break into tears. BM saw this and leaned in to take a look. Making Yang Ha choke back his tears, he asked confusedly, "What are you doing?" BM replied casually with a smile, "You rarely cry, so I have to savor the sight." Normally Yang Ha laughs uproariously like an orc, and now he's crying hoo-hoo. Strange things do happen. Thinking back, the first time he saw him cry was when his son was born. BM said, raising an eyebrow and teasing, "Your face was impossible to look at then." Yang Ha retorted angrily, "At least pretend to comfort someone, you psycho." BM shrugged indifferently, then tossed him something and said blandly, "I don't know how to comfort you. Take this." Yang Ha looked at the thing in his hand suspiciously and asked, "What's this?" BM slowly explained, "Try it on Hawen, but don't get your hopes up. It's very good, and it was hard to obtain. I'm off. If Hawen wakes, give her my regards." Hearing this, Yang Ha smiled. "If you had to go to the trouble to find it, it must be precious, thanks." But at that moment, he suddenly remembered the ginseng he received from Jai-T. He's hurriedly called back, "Hey BM, can you take a look at this for me? I was gifted it. You've probably never seen one before." BM froze mid-step at those words. Then he turned his head and raised an eyebrow. "Even I haven't seen one." Elsewhere at a jade green stream, a monkey was madly chasing a bird, making the little bird scream for help. Jayo-ul sat on a rock not far away, watching the scene. Just then, a sudden voice rang out, "Jayo-ul," causing the girl to turn her head. Seeing the scene, her eyes involuntarily narrowed, because Jai-T was standing off in the distance, his shirt unbuttoned to reveal firm abs. He's waving at Jayo-ul, "Come over, let's go play in the water." The sight was so flattering that Jayo-ul stared in fascination. Immediately after, the girl leapt off the rock and skated across the water. As she neared Jai-T, Jayo-ul kicked off and jumped up, and so her body hovered in midair. But before long, she fell into Jai-T's arms. He laughed happily, "Haha, got you. My Jayo-ul jumps really well, and she's so cool." Jayo-ul froze at that, "Cool, huh?" Jai-T twirled her a few times in the air and laughed. Of course, Jayo-ul is the prettiest and the coolest. It turned out the beautiful scenes had just been Jayo-ul's dream. Everyone was snug in bed. At that moment, the bedroom door suddenly opened. Jai-T poked his head in from outside and saw Jayo-ul asleep. He closed the door and left. It was very late. The moon had reached its peak. The servant was also fast asleep. Yo-Riem was the same. She had long been sleeping soundly in the big bed. Jai-T quietly stepped outside, but at that moment, he suddenly paused. Yubom, unbeknownst to him, was standing behind Jai-T. He frowned and asked, "What are you doing? Why aren't you asleep at this hour?" Yubom spoke slowly, "Let me go with you." Jai-T replied coldly, "I'm just going out for a bit. Go back to sleep." But Yubom remained standing there and said seriously, "The urgent matter you need to go out for is related to why you left yesterday, isn't it?" He startled at those words, but quickly he asked sternly, "You saw something through the pattern, didn't you?" Yubom spoke slowly, "I know. What's seen by patterning can't be spoken of. What I can say now is that you need me." Jai-T didn't change his decision and said coldly, "This isn't your business, so." Before he could finish, Jai-T suddenly froze, because Yubom lunged forward and hugged him tightly. She whispered softly, "Do you think I'm just a child who needs protection? Covering up the ugly things, avoiding the filthy. Do you think stuffing only good things into us will make us happy?" As she spoke, she tightened her grip and clutched Jai-T's sleeve. Yubom murmured quietly, "If I were like other children who only see the good, I wouldn't care. But I'm of the Six Dragon clan." He frowned at that and fell silent. After a long moment, he freed himself from Yubom's embrace. Jai-T said coldly, "I'm going." Yubom couldn't persuade him. A look of disappointment flashed across her face. She bowed her head and murmured, "I'm sorry. If it's something very painful, very unpleasant, but must be done, what can I do?" Jai-T paused in his step but didn't turn his head. He replied indifferently, "It still has to be done." Yubom pressed her lips together and said, "Even if people hate, even if people suffer." Jai-T just nodded casually. Then he continued toward the door, but he saw a large sword placed in front of the door. Yubom explained slowly, "I borrowed it from the servant. It might be needed. But I hope you won't have to use that sword." Jai-T was momentarily stunned as he looked at her, murmuring, "Yubom, you." Before he could finish, Yubom cut in with a smile, "Travel safely." Elsewhere at the International Superhuman Association, headquarters in Tokyo, preparations were underway for today's large-scale punitive operation. Notable powerhouse superhumans from the Alliance had gathered. The Alliance's 70-person strike team of the International Hunters had assembled, and of course there was one more person. The Alliance captain sat in the room, looking somewhat displeased. Jai-T stood before him, raising an eyebrow and requesting, "You're the captain here. Give me a spot on the team." The request made the captain's face darken. He ground his teeth and muttered, "What?" The Alliance's 70-person strike team had fully assembled. The target of this raid was the giant boss appearing in the S-rank dungeon, the Hethya Sea, the Croc. The high level of danger for this raid was evident. Therefore, the Alliance only assembled superhumans from the top 0.5% and above. To put it simply, this power equates to the military firepower of a developing nation. And their summoned captain was an officer of the International Superhuman Association, a world-class rank 90 powerhouse, Shireishi Ryunosuke. He asked, "Are you Japanese?" Jai-T replied, "I live nearby." He continued, "In other words, you want a spot on this 70-man raid team, and you want to vet all the members' files too." Jai-T answered coldly, quick to understand. The corner of his mouth lifted with amusement. "Ha ha." Then he covered his face with his hand and laughed loudly. "That's right, knowing secret information about our operation and slipping past surveillance to stand before me proves you're no pushover. A dangerous operation like this would be lucky to have a strategist as strong as you on board," he said with welcome. Then he shifted his tone. "Do you think I'd say that?" He pointed forward, ready to strike. "Warning, the raid starts in a few hours. In this situation, no prior coordination, no connections, and you're not even one of us. What reason would I have to trust?" He ground his teeth in anger. "Do you take this alliance for a joke?" Jai-T remained calm and replied, "I thought we could talk it out." He pointed to the door and shouted, "Now get him locked in the cell. If he resists, I'll treat him as an enemy of the alliance and kill him without mercy." Faced with these threats, his gaze showed no fear. This irritated Shireishi somewhat. He immediately fired a beam of energy toward, but the attack was easily avoided by him with a lean of his body. Seeing that, he slumped back into his chair. He kicked the table in front of him violently, sending it flying toward him. Without hesitation, he thrust both hands forward. He unleashed countless magic bullets, riddling the table with holes. In an instant, the table shattered into pieces. But that still didn't satisfy him. Ordinary attacks weren't enough, because all those attacks had been dispelled by him with extreme ease. His face darkened. "I didn't intend to use this." He reached out and touched the arm of the chair. Immediately, his body shot straight up into the air. Once airborne, he drew a bow and aimed it straight at his head. His voice turned cold. "Please don't dodge. I don't want to punch a hole through this building's foundation." When ready, he used the judgment skill, an arrow tore through the air from behind. He still maintained a calm demeanor and reached out to snatch the arrow with remarkable precision. This made Shireishi's mouth twitch in alarm. Did he really catch the celestial bow of judgment, and so easily? While he was still stunned, his arrow was thrown back at him. The impact slammed his body hard into the wall behind him. Shattering it, he collapsed to the floor with a cry of pain. He stepped forward to stand over him. At this, his face still appeared composed. He advanced and asked, "Have you changed your mind?" He stammered, "Not sure yet. If I keep refusing, what will you do to me?" The other replied, "Probably skin you and wear it." A greenish mana aura radiated from him as he laughed through the pain. "Ha ha, I may look young, but I'm older. Old people are tenacious. It'll be hard to wear me alive." Without hesitation, he used the Radiant March technique. His body sprang from its position. Quickly spinning, he ran toward the exit. As he ran, he gritted his teeth and thought, "Calm down. Escaping that monster is impossible anyway." The only escape now was the emergency teleport in the room next to the office. Go to headquarters to report and call the guards. Just as he broke through the wall and leapt into the adjacent room, suddenly his gaze went blank for a few seconds. At that moment, the teleport device had already been sabotaged by someone. His eyes widened in shock at the scene before him. An unsheathed sword was suddenly pressed to his throat. A deadly glint appeared on his face. He repeated, "Have you changed your mind?" He spat curses in a terrified stammer. "Damn it." After a few seconds' thought, he said, "Welcome to the strike team." Back in the office, he sat in the chair, reviewing the files of the strike team members. Shireishi was now kneeling on the ground, his eyes showing fear. Who is that monster, really? Not a fiend, could he be a regressor from another world like BM? No, if he were a regressor, the Alliance couldn't have known his information. And from the start, why did he want to join our operation? It's impossible to predict what he's plotting. After reviewing, he turned and questioned, "Is that all the information on the strike team?" The man startled and replied, "Yes. Among the 70 people, one person's information is missing." He asked curiously, "What's the matter?" He explained the previous operator couldn't be contacted, so we hurriedly found a replacement. That's why the file has no name yet. But that person was sent directly by headquarters, so there's no need to worry. He then requested, "Let me meet that operator right now. Is that possible?" He immediately agreed, speaking through the comm bracelet. "The operator is waiting there. Come to my office now. Don't ask why hurt." Suddenly a voice rang in his head. "Master, could you speak for a moment?" He replied, "What's up?" The voice continued, "I've obtained information on Prototype X. He said if you found it, transfer the memory immediately." The voice stammered, "Sorry, it's like this." He was startled by those words. "Is it someone I knew in my previous life?" The voice answered, "Yes, that's correct." From outside, a pair of small feet stepped in. Glancing around, the person gasped, why is the office such a mess? Why is the captain kneeling there and injured too?" Shireishi replied, "No, it's nothing, I just fell." The newcomer continued, "Are you being scolded?" He angrily snapped, "That's not important. He wants to see you." This made her startled. Me. He stared at her, thinking inwardly, even if X is an acquaintance of mine, it doesn't matter. No matter who, they must die. But when she removed her mask, his eyes showed some surprise. She spoke, "Are you looking for me?" "I'm Ha-Seat Biol." He muttered to himself, Ha-Seat Biol, the ex-lover of the regressor. This moment was after Jai T began his second regression. 3 years had passed since the war with the fiends broke out at Severo Bay. Humanity had set up camp here to rest. On one side, people were busy building fires and cooking. And Jai T was also present. He was 32 at the time, in his second regression. While Jai T was enjoying the view, someone suddenly came up and patted his shoulder from behind. Jai T glanced back, then a finger touched his cheek. The newcomer was a girl who laughed cheerfully. "Ha ha, you fell for it again, Captain." Jai T looked down and asked suspiciously, "What's with that outfit?" The girl resembled Ha-Seat Biol but looked younger. She smiled, "It's rare to get a break, so I tried a relaxed, resort-like look. How is it? Does it suit me?" Jai T said nothing but avoided her gaze. Ha-Seat Biol teased, "You're blushing." Jai T shook his head, denying it. "No, not at all." Ha-Seat Biol didn't think much and suddenly suggested, "Captain, do you want to go up that hill behind tonight?" Jai T frowned and asked, "The hill?" Ha-Seat Biol nodded softly. "Yes, I have something I want to show you." The two stood there talking, and those behind couldn't help whispering, "What's the captain's relationship with Ha-Seat Biol?" It seemed they'd known each other a long time. Love indeed blooms even on the battle. At that moment, someone suddenly asked suspiciously, "Why did Ha-Seat Biol join our mercenary group?" A young, beautiful woman being here felt out of place. Unaware of the gossip, Jai T happily stood by the lakeshore playing. He lifted Ha-Seat Biol horizontally, making her scream with excitement. Inside the shore, someone on the team suddenly exclaimed in surprise, "Don't tell me she fell for the captain at first sight and joined because of that." Hearing this, another person shook his head and denied it. It's not like that. She originally worked at an orphanage. And as everyone knows, the war had broken out back then. The orphanage was destroyed, and all the children died. Ha Seet Byul was devastated. Afterwards, she awakened as a superhuman combat coordinator, and thus was drawn into this grim place. Upon hearing this, the other person nodded in understanding. So that's why she always looks cheerful, so I wouldn't have guessed that past. That evening on the Starry Hill, Jai T and Ha Seet Byul really did come here. She waved excitedly and called him over. Come here, come here. Ha Seet Byul glanced at Jai T and smiled. You remembered our appointment, huh? I thought you'd forgotten. Jai T frowned slightly and asked suspiciously, what's so special about this place? Ha Seet Byul looked up at the moon in the night sky. She winked and said with a smile, you're not romantic at all. There's a beautiful night sky here and a pretty girl like Jai T fell into thought at her words, and the atmosphere grew quiet. Seeing this, Ha Seet Byul blushed and cleared her throat. Actually, there's something else here. You're aware my ability detects danger, right? Jai T immediately became serious, frowned and asked, do you mean there's something dangerous here? Seeing his reaction, Ha Seet Byul panicked and cried out, no, you're taking it too seriously. Close your eyes and just listen to me. He frowned suspiciously and shut his eyes tight. Then Ha Seet Byul spoke up. My ability does detect danger, but once you're used to it, you can sometimes sense other things besides danger. If my feeling is right, what I sense this time is vibration. Hearing this, Jai T opened his eyes and asked in a low voice, are you going to say it? Before she could finish, his eyes involuntarily narrowed. Because the sky was now filled with countless shooting stars, Jai T looked up in astonishment. At the same time, Ha Seet Byul suddenly took off running. Then she leapt straight into Jai T's arm. She looked up at him and cheerfully asked, do you see it? That's the vibration. Upon hearing this, Jai T seemed to be thinking about something. After a moment, he reached out and touched Ha Seet Byul's face. And a second later, Jai T kissed her in a deeply romantic moment. After a long while, he finally released Ha Seet Byul's lips. After a shy pause, Ha Seet Byul raised an eyebrow and teased, the captain's lips are too dry. Let me lend you some balm. Jai T cleared his throat and nodded bashfully. And in the moment a shooting star streaked across the sky, Jai T proposed to Ha Seet Byul. After this localized battle ends, let's get married. Ha Seet Byul, surprised, asked back, are you proposing to me? So suddenly, Jai T frowned and asked, what's wrong, don't you like? Ha Seet Byul shook her head. It's not that I don't like it. If it's the captain's order, I'll obey. Jai T offered a rare smile at her word. That same night on the Starry Hill, they shared many plans together. But then disaster struck. In one battle, Ha Seet Byul was gravely wounded. Someone attacked the team with a knife. Many people fell, blood flowing like a river, and the one who struck was Jai T. He seemed mad, his hand relentlessly plunging the knife into Ha Seet Byul. But Jai T kept screaming, stop, please, please stop. It turned out someone behind him was controlling him, the destroyer-class superhuman Haste Gawa. He chuckled, the sound exquisite. There's no thrill greater than killing the one you love with your own hands. Then Hasegawa's tone suddenly hardened. He ground his teeth and demanded, why cause such a spectacle? Do you know how much damage you've caused us? He said he had promised Ha Seet Byul he'd let him live, and told him to live and remember that forever. As soon as he finished speaking, Hasegawa retracted the strings controlling his puppet. He turned and left, leaving Jai T standing there with a sullen face. He chuckled triumphantly. Remember the consequences of daring to oppose us fiends. In that regression, Ha Seet Byul died by Jai T's hand, and that moment in his second regression became his torment. The moment he began killing, and the entire mercenary squad fell, Jai T's mission to save Earth had failed. He returned to the next regression. Back in reality, he saw Jai T dazed. Ha Seet Byul, alarmed, shouted, hey, are you okay? Jai T finally snapped out of the past. He looked at Ha Seet Byul's finger pointing at him. Realizing this, Ha Seet Byul hurriedly explained, I just nudged you because you were zoned out and saying nothing. This startled Shiraishi, who hastily warned, what are you doing? Don't provoke him, Ha Seet Byul asked suspiciously. Why, is he someone important? At that moment, Jai T used the pendulum clock power. The person whose malice needed checking was Ha Seet Byul. Quickly, Jai T learned that for some reason Ha Seet Byul's life path in this regression had changed, and she had become cursed. The superhuman had contracted with an abyssal entity and become a fiend. The entity bound to Ha Seet Byul was the seventh lord of the abyss, Rakshata. Jai T received all the information and immediately shut off his power. No need to think much. Who Rakshata is doesn't matter. Your task is clear. Stop Rakshata. Thinking that, Jai T slowly spoke. Hey, my position is Wingguard right. Shiraishi, startled by the question, answered, yes, that's right. Jai T coldly demanded, switch me to combat coordinator. I will act with this woman. A few watches later, in the dungeon area at the Hethya Sea, the sea waves surged violently. After a moment, a spatial gate opened and people stepped out. Many others followed behind. This was the 70-person assault team of the Superhuman Alliance, led by Shiraishi. Hasit Byul walked behind Shiraishi, squinting at Jai T. He strode ahead, his silhouette proud. He drew the large blade from his back. And so the Kraken dungeon assault officially began. The Hethya Sea was surging now, signaling definite danger. Those participating in this battle used the downtime to check information. Seeing Jai T's name, they whispered in shock, the combat coordinator. Someone grumbled unhappily. Why was someone suddenly added like this? And is it okay to let an unknown person join such a dangerous operation? Not far away, Jai T leaned against the cliff to rest. Shiraishi approached him and calmly said, I already told the team you're an acquaintance of mine. Although a few people expressed doubt, it shouldn't be a big problem. You won't cause any more trouble, will you? Jai T apathetically nodded and replied, yeah. Hearing that, Shiraishi was satisfied and said, fine, once it's over, quietly slip away from me. I find this really troublesome. Hasit Byul, sitting on the ground, couldn't help speaking up. I think you're putting pressure on them. Captain Shiraishi looks flustered. You must be someone important, or maybe an alliance inspector. Jai T remained silent, while Hasit Byul, not noticing, laughed and said, then you must have a lot of experience with dangerous dungeons. Actually, I'm very afraid of water, so this is my first time serving as a combat coordinator in an ocean dungeon like this. Saying that, she turned to Jai T, winked playfully, and added, if I fall into the water, don't leave me. I'm heavy, so I'll probably sink. Jai T was instantly stunned into silence. Seeing this, Hasit Byul blushed. This is bad. I have to go do something real quick. I'm not usually like this. I'm just suddenly so nervous today. With that, she hurried off, and Jai T said nothing the whole time, merely watching her leave calmly. This Hasit Byul, you know she's always been timid like that. She's not only afraid of deep water, she trembles at the sight of blood. But the person standing before Jai T now was not afraid of water at all. Even carrying fragments of memories lost from the timeline, Hasit Byul still didn't recognize him, because her core was different. She merely mimicked Hasit Byul using the host's memories. Perhaps her true soul had been bound by the seventh lord of the abyss, Rakshata. And the one who designed this whole situation was an entity outside the timeline. There was only one thing he wanted, Jai T's despair. He sought to make him collapse by forcing him to kill his own Hasit Byul, truly a pure malice aimed straight at Jai T. But clearly the seventh Abyss Lord Rakshata didn't understand him very well. At that moment, from the deep sea, a massive tentacle writhed up. The faces of the people there immediately turned ugly. What emerged was the Kraken, a gigantic monster. The Kraken crawled onto the shore step by step. It was far larger than in the reports, truly befitting a giant species. At that moment, someone anxiously went up to Shiraishi and urged, Captain Shiraishi, give the order. Shiraishi suddenly snapped to attention and hurriedly said, all right, we have to deal with it fast, then go to the celebration. Frontline charged. As soon as he finished speaking, arrows of energy began to appear in his hands, and at the same time the guard team surged forward. Immediately, countless beams of energy hurtled toward the Kraken. At that moment, several afterimages flashed and vanished. When they reappeared, they were already in front of the Kraken. They frantically attacked it. Swords and blades kept striking, but the Kraken's outer hide was like iron and steel, basically impervious. Of course, they didn't give up and continued to assault. Fortune favored them. Someone managed to stab into the Kraken's eye. The pain made the Kraken more ferocious. The fighters immediately panicked, but it was too late. A massive tentacle lunged forward. With a crash, the tentacle slammed down hard. Shiraishi urgently shouted for everyone to brace. Spell-type superhumans, seal its tentacle. He also ordered support to amplify mana, and for the sharpshooters to provide continuous covering fire. Thus, they coordinated smoothly to fight back the Kraken, holding on until the combat coordinator found the weak point. But before long, the iron chains binding the Kraken began to show signs of snap. The high monk controlling the chains immediately trembled and muttered, it's too strong. It won't hold much longer. Shiraishi turned to Jai T at the rear and shouted, has the combat coordinator identified the weak point? Jai T replied slowly, its left eye aim for that. Shiraishi asked doubtfully, is that the core? Jai T said flatly, hitting there makes it react in pain. Shiraishi nodded slightly to show he understood, but then he seemed to realize something. He cried out in alarm, Hasit Byul, where is she? Jai T answered calmly, she hasn't returned since she said she was going to the restroom. Hearing this, Shiraishi shouted anxiously, damn it, Did she go crazy, going to the restroom now? He bit his lip fiercely and asked with difficulty, the left eye, are you sure? Jai-T didn't answer, but Shiraishi took it as confirmation and prepared to act. Seeing that, someone worriedly asked, Captain, what are you going to do? Shiraishi bellowed boldly, hold those tentacles tight. I'm going to strike hard. As soon as he finished, he unleashed his energy. Immediately, a beam of energy appeared in his hands. In an instant, Shiraishi shaped it into an arrow and screamed madly, O dark beast of the abyss, I vow you shall sink into eternal sleep. As soon as his words ended, the arrow was fully drawn. Then Shiraishi slowly released it, the arrow slicing through the air with force. The arrow flew straight for the Kraken's left eye. With a boom, the arrow detonated on impact. The Kraken began to roar in pain. The others quickly fell back to avoid the blast. They shouted anxiously, did Captain Shiraishi succeed? At that moment, the Kraken slowly collapsed. After delivering that blow, Shiraishi quickly made it to shore. Only his expression wasn't great, because he realized the force wasn't enough. If only he hadn't been injured in the shoulder back then. This alone wasn't enough to kill the Kraken. Shiraishi knew he had to finish it before it recovered. At the same time, a figure stood on a cliff not far away. As soon as they saw the Kraken sinking step by step, the person lifted their foot and jumped down. The person was none other than Ha-Seat-Byul, and her target was Shiraishi. Her eyes were bloodshot now, filled with killing intent. In this critical, hair-on-end moment, Jai-T appeared to stop her. With a boom, the seawater suddenly exploded, spraying everywhere. Shiraishi stared blankly at the scene, mumbling in confusion. What was that? Something just flashed by. Beneath the deep water, shattered pieces of armor began to sink. Ha-Seat-Byul was sinking too. Her gaze had turned vengeful. She ground her teeth and muttered, You bastard, since when did you know my plan? Jai-T stood coldly before her and said indifferently, You don't understand me at all. I no longer harbor any feelings. The Ha-Seat-Byul of that time and the you of that time, though you shared bright moments together and endured a dark past, you killed them all with your own hands. After saying this, Jai-T fixed his gaze on Ha-Seat-Byul. His face was full of killing intent. Ha-Seat-Byul looked at him with hatred and ground her teeth, asking, You know me. As she spoke, Ha-Seat-Byul suddenly realized something. Ah, so that's it. No wonder it looks familiar. I think I'm starting to remember. Back then on the battlefield, right? We were a pair who lived and died together. We must have held hands, and maybe even shared a kiss under the starry sky. She leaned close to him and continued, Those lips, rough as they were sweet. How could that be? If I had known you'd stop me like this, I should have bitten off your tongue back then. No sooner had she finished speaking than she punched him hard, but he immediately reached out and caught the blow. She began reverting to her true form as countless legs sprouted from her back. You said earlier that you killed me back then, didn't you? She had now completely transformed. Then it's my turn to kill you. This is Prototype X in its complete form. She smiled with delight. Is that right? Without hesitation, she swung her many legs straight at him. Carried by the current, the tentacles were thrust forward. He didn't hesitate and swung his sword, easily cutting through the incoming tentacle. Just after he finished the slash, other tentacles sprang forward. He continued to deal with them with precise efficiency. This made Ha-Seat-Byul a little angry. She laughed loudly with pleasure, ha ha ha. Then she attacked him repeatedly, but every assault was easily thwarted by him. This made her somewhat puzzled. Ha ha, could this really be the Jai-T I knew? Compared to then, you've become overwhelmingly stronger. If you had been this strong back then, you could have protected both me and our comrades. She lunged forward and grabbed his hand, but I've been curious since earlier. Why did you only block and refuse to attack? Could it be guilt, unable to kill the woman you once loved one more time? Back then you tore me apart, stabbed and slashed me to pieces. You even plucked my eyes out cleanly. You don't know how much I suffered then, do you? Old images suddenly began flooding his mind. Ha-Seat-Byul continued, That morning I was so cold, she said, smiling, a smile that carried an indescribable pain. The image of Jai-T appeared in her remaining eye. Then his image began to shrink and vanish. At that moment the system notified, the Temporal Pleasure Power X has found an item displaced from the world's timeline. Target the Devil's Longsword. Countless slashes began to manifest, and the one who created them was none other than Jai-T. He had now mastered his emotions, and thus did not fall into the illusion again, enduring a barrage of attacks that made Ha-Seat-Byul cry out in excruciating pain. The system continued, the temporal pleasure power will protect you from malicious influence. He thought to himself, could I sense the temporal pleasure power on the Guardian's inner sword? Perhaps when extracting the malice from the Guardian's body, it stored power in the sword. The image of the sword radiating power appeared in his mind, along with U-Bomb's words ringing. I borrowed it from the janitor earlier. Sooner or later you'll need it. He thought, did that girl predict this and give me the sword for that reason? If it's that thing, it can dispel both malice and the demon's power without killing Ha Sitbyul. Feeling the pains coursing through her body, Ha Sitbyul ground her teeth in fury. You bastard, what did you do to my body? Then her eyes suddenly widened, somewhat startled. Because he had rushed to her side, his voice was resolute. Stop toying with this poor girl's body and come out here now. As he spoke, he delivered another slash to her. Feeling her parts threaten to fall apart, she cursed inwardly. Damn it, each time that sword touches me, the shedding layer is destroyed. At this rate, the demon state will disappear. Is there a better way? Then she turned her gaze to the giant squid lying on the sea floor. A smile spread across her lips. That's right, as long as my body doesn't touch it, it'll be fine, right? No sooner had she finished speaking than she dashed straight toward the squid below and landed softly. Then countless tentacles began to grow from her body, piercing into each part of the giant squid's body. The power from her gaze burst forth. Immediately, she was now able to fully control the squid. Looking down, he marveled. This loop isn't just about the demon state. It seems you've even linked your mind with the monster, haven't you? She didn't answer, but simply screamed loudly, then commanded the squid's tentacles to strike straight at him. The sword in his hand began to glow. He activated the invisible sword skill, second form. Energy started to swirl around the blade's tip. Without hesitation, he delivered an extremely decisive slash, radiating a linked pattern, easily severing the tentacles rushing in. Looking at that attack, she was somewhat surprised. This black power did not exist anywhere in this woman's memory. She sensed it emanating from the Kraken's hide. This was not mana, nor a blessing, but pure killing intent, honed from countless hatreds and curses. What on earth did you do to acquire such power? Watching the slash hurtling toward her, she could only smile helplessly. Ha ha, truly a mad monster. A single slash shot straight for the top of her head. On impact, the shoreline where they fought reverberated with a tremendous aftershock. This made the other warriors startle and shout, "Ah, what's this? Why all of a sudden? Get out quick." Shiraishi also felt the power. He thought to himself that ominous strength must be his. He sighed, well, unbelievable. What was supposed to be a private matter has ended up causing this commotion. After the battle, the sky returned to its clear state. Jai-T's feet walked forward slowly. In his arms he now carried Ha Sitbyul, completely naked. The system then called to report. Begin collecting traces of malice contained within Ha Sitbyul. It notified that Ha Sitbyul must be monitored periodically to detect malice. Reading the notice, he only then breathed a light sigh of relief. It's temporarily over then. Suddenly, the communication bracelet on his arm vibrated. Guy Yule's voice rang out. Uncle, where are you? He replied, I'm dealing with something here. On the other end, her voice grew urgent. Come back quickly. If you're not here, Yoriam is mixing your drink and drinking it AAA. He could only be helpless at these girls' mischief. Thus, the 71-member strike team of the International Superhuman Alliance completed the Kraken hunt at the Hethia Sea, S-rank dungeon. And one more thing, shortly after, he took Ha Sitbyul back home with him. The sight of her stark naked left the kids at home with mouths agape and eyes wide in surprise.